Oh yeah! Is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week of Star Wars news, ladies and gentle beings? Wow. What a crazy day we have today as we were talking to the Bad Batch first 3 episodes connecting the entire Skywalker Saga. We also have to talk about that Acolyte news from Thursday as well, and we have some other stuff to talk about too, with a new book about the Empire, the rise and fall of the Empire. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're going to talk about it all today. But the main topic of conversation is how the hell is this all connected with the Bad Batch, the Mandalorian, the sequel trilogy, and all of it with Palpatine and his cloning and Project Necromancer. What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday evening? What's up, chat? How we doing today? We actually get to start off this chat with a nice celebration. Let's start off the chat today with a nice celebration, okay? Because, well, what the hell? Because, what just happened? Oh, fixed it. Okay. Because we got a new member. In between streams, Star Wars Sith, if you are in here right now, huge shout out to Tony for becoming a member again, re-upping his membership. So huge shout out to Tony. Tony, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. No better way to start a stream than having a new member come on board. I appreciate you, Tony, and a huge shout out to you. The memberships are, again, if I haven't said this enough, the best way to support the channel other than just watching and hitting that like button, of course. But it's the best way to support the channel. It is giving you the access to getting giveaways, which you're doing one next week, or this coming week. And you get some other awesome cool perks, like a members-only portion of the Discord. We're going to start doing members-only streams when we get enough members. And once the shop opens this year, the shop on the page, you will get a percentage off of the merchandise on there as well. So that's just the best way to support the channel. Huge shout out to Tony. I really do appreciate that. So how's everybody doing today on this fine Tuesday afternoon? No, it's not Tuesday. What the hell? Saturday afternoon. How's everybody doing? Cat's Paw, what's up? Odd Star Wars 5, what is up? Salty Texas Ranger, what's up? Tony, how we doing? Fearless Jay in the house. Skywalker Academy, what's up? Tiffany, how we doing? Maggie, what is up? Austin Snow. Wow, we got a lot of people in early today. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? Are we still riding high off the Bad Batch first premiere? Those first 3 episodes were pretty damn good, I must say. We're going to talk about them today. We're going to talk about how it connects everything from the whole Skywalker Saga together. And I got a massive video coming out tomorrow for you guys, breaking down what Project Necromancer really is, going into the details of what it actually is, what it really means, and why it's so important to the upcoming season of the Bad Batch as well. So, yeah. Thanks, Ian. I appreciate that. What's up, Ian? How we doing? Odd says, okay, so I heard that John Boyega said that he was done with Star Wars. Has anyone noticed a pattern? It sounds like he is more done than Adam Driver. I think they are all lying, LOL. Yeah, it's pretty interesting that all these actors from the sequel trilogy are all now coming out sort of and saying that they don't want to come back. I really do appreciate the hearts, guys. I do. Dustin, what's up? John Groom, how we doing? So, yeah, it is interesting that all these actors from the sequel trilogy are now like, yeah, I'm probably not ever coming back to Star Wars, when it's around the time where they're probably casting the Rey movie. They're reaching out to them, saying to them, please come back. We'll pay you a lot of money to come back for the Rey movie. Please come back. And now all these actors that are being asked about these coming back to Star Wars, Adam Driver being the most recent one, saying that they don't want to or they're done with it. And actors lie all the time. All the time. If you can cast your mind back, if you're a Marvel fan, to when Spider-Man No Way Home was coming out. Remember Andrew Garfield going on every talk show on the planet for some reason at the time and lying to our faces, telling us that he's definitely not in that movie. And even though he was caught in 4K with a behind-the-scenes photo, it wasn't him. It's completely made up, whatever. So I think, yes, actors lie all the time. So whether or not Adam Driver and John Boyega are coming back to the Rey movie, only time will tell, but you can't believe a word they're saying, because if Disney comes to them and says, do you want to play the role? And they're like, yeah, sure. they're not going to tell us that. That would ruin the whole surprise and ruin the whole movie. So they're not going to tell us that, but they lie all the time. So you can't really take what these actors say too seriously. They keep getting asked the same question in very similar responses, except Driver was less in denial than Boyega. They must really want people to think that it's just Rey only in this movie. And that's what doesn't make sense. If it's a Rey movie, it's going to be a continuation of the sequel trilogy, and a lot of the sequels cast will be there as well. So we're not just dumb. We're not stupid. We're not dumb. Are we dumb? I don't think we're dumb. So we know that a lot of these sequel casts are coming back for this movie. Yeah. So don't believe everything the actors say to you. Yeah. Don't believe everything you hear online. Unless it comes from me. Then you can maybe believe it. Maybe on a good day. The Star Wars trivia before the stream started was, what is the name of Palpatine's master's master? If anybody wasn't here to put that in, let's ask the whole class today. So before the stream, if you guys get in early, which I really do appreciate when you guys are in the chat early, it makes my day. Chatting it up in the chat before the stream starts. We do some trivia in the chat beforehand, and today's question was, what is the name of Palpatine's master's master? I went on a little confusing question today with the wording of this, but I didn't want to tell you Palpatine's master because then it might be easier if you know who that is. So what is the name of Palpatine's master's master? We'll see what you guys guess. Maggie says Plagueis. No, that's his master. His master's master. Salty says Grand Master Limpius Schlongo. Oh, God. Odd says, with all these connections, I can't help but wonder if this will be addressed in the Rey movie too. Oh, you mean the connections between Palpatine in what's going on with the cloning during the time of the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian and the sequel trilogy? Will it connect to the Rey movie? That's a great question. I really don't know. Right now, I have no clue. It's possible that it could connect, but as of right now, it isn't. It's not connected. It doesn't seem like it's going to be connected because the Rey movie is supposed to move us into the future of Star Wars. It's not supposed to be the same story over and over again. Yes, Austin. Yes, Dustin. Yes, Maggie. Yes, Ian. You're all right. Yeah. It is Darth Tenebris. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Odd says, I heard that Plagueis is related to the Acolyte. So there's rumors about this going on. The Acolyte show is supposed to take place about 50 to 100-ish, we don't really know, 100 years before the prequel trilogy, so 100 years before The Phantom Menace. And that's a time where Plagueis would be alive. That's a time when he'd probably be alive with his master, Darth Tenebris, and that's kind of why that was the trivia question for today, because we do have some Acolyte news. We talked about the release date on Thursday, possibly being June 5th of this year, so only in a few months, really. But Darth Plagueis could be in this show because it's a Sith-centered show, but there's no Sith. As Mace Windu tells us in The Phantom Menace that a Sith hasn't been seen in over 1,000 years, there's not supposed to be any Sith right now. But we do know from canon that Plagueis is alive at the time, and then he eventually trains Palpatine. But Plagueis' master is Darth Tenebris. So the two of them would be alive at this time. They just aren't prominent in the galaxy. The Jedi don't know about them. We'll put it that way. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, though. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to I wonder if everything is going to be tied then to the Rey movie, and that will bring in something new. Oh, you mean everything else will be tied in, and then the Rey movie will just be something new? I think the Rey movie is supposed to kick us off into the future of Star Wars. It's not supposed to be a continuation of what the sequels were. It's not supposed to be a continuation of the Rey character. It's supposed to give us a new cast of Jedi to move forward, to go past all of that stuff, to give us a future to look forward to. Yeah. But I think everything else is going to be tied together. The reason that we have the Bad Batch, the reason that we have Tales of the Jedi, the reason that we have Kenobi, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, The Mandalorian movie, The Mandalorian Season 1, 2, 3, Ahsoka, the Book of Boba Fett, they're all kind of spread out around the Star Wars timeline, but one way or another, they are all connected. And now all these loose strings that have been given to us over the last couple of years in the Star Wars Disney Plus shows are being tied together. In this Bad Batch Season 3 is just the start to tying everything together. From the Kenobi show, to the Mandalorian Season 3, to Ahsoka, to the Bad Batch. All of it will be connected by the end of this Bad Batch Season 3, but we'll talk about that in just a second as soon as I catch up on these chats. What's up, Tony? What's up, Fearless? Jay, what's up? Salty says, oh shit, my internet is out at home and I haven't watched The Bad Batch yet. Gotta fly. Gotta fly if you bring it up. Oh, okay. Cool. You haven't watched The Bad Batch yet, Salty? Come on. Go fix your Wi-Fi. Go fix that Wi-Fi. Austin says, I can't believe that they're connecting to the sequels. Yeah, I think they're doing it in a very good way, though. Episode 3 of The Bad Batch is undeniably good. Undeniably. Even sequel haters or sequel lovers alike both loved this third episode of The Bad Batch. It's undeniably a great episode of Star Wars content. It just is. And it connects to the top Project Necromancer in The Mandalorian. It connects to Palpatine's coming back in The Rise of Skywalker. It connects to all of it. But sequel haters don't care. Sequel lovers don't care. It really has nothing to do with it while also having everything to do with it at the same exact time. It is the perfect way to go about this. You're fixing the sequel trilogy while not even being within 40 years of the sequel trilogy. It's genius. It's absolute genius. And the writers, the producers, all the people working on The Bad Batch are not getting nearly enough credit for what they're doing right now. Not nearly enough credit. Dave Filoni, Jennifer Colbert, Brad Rao, whatever the hell their names are, they are the ones that are freaking geniuses right now. They're doing the impossible 40 years before anybody thought it was possible. Literally 40 years before the sequel trilogy. Everybody's like, get rid of the sequel trilogy, wreck on the sequel trilogy, or I absolutely love the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy is the best. Doesn't matter. We're 40 years before that in the time of The Bad Batch, and it's fixing it piece by piece. It's insane, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. 5 says, getting closer to 10K already. I know, it's crazy. We're going to hit 9K hopefully next week. I think we're on track to about probably the end of next week, I would guess. It'd be cool to do it before the end of February because that would just kind of be like a milestone type thing we were trying to get to on the channel behind the scenes here. But yeah, 9K is crazy. So I'm thinking when we hit 10K, which hopefully is sooner rather than later, but we will have this awesome stream and it'll hopefully not be in the middle of the night. So guys, if you're hitting subscribe, please hit subscribe in the middle of the day so that we can get a nice 10K stream going, you know? Because when we hit 10K, it's going to be this massive stream. I'm going to do giveaways. We're going to do this huge event. Hopefully mid to late March. Oh, that would suck. That would really, really suck. I'm going away for like 4 days in March. If it was during those 4 days, that would just be the worst timing ever. Oh, that would be awful. But we're doing this massive celebration stream, celebrating you guys, celebrating the channel, celebrating the accomplishments, and doing massive giveaways for the 10K subscription mark, and that's just going to be a blast. I can't wait. But yes, we're getting closer and closer every day. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did I just scroll down to the bottom? No. No. Salty, I love you right back. Don't worry about it. Odd says, I think they have to move forward, but I really hope that they admit that Palpatine won by wiping out the actual Skywalkers and making sense of it. Yes. Palpatine did win. I mean, Palpatine won over and over and over again. He won in the prequel trilogy. He lost in the original trilogy, we'll put it that way, even though he blew up Alderaan. He won in The Empire Strikes Back. He won countless times throughout the original trilogy, but he does lose in the end. And then in the sequel trilogy, you could argue that he won. He took over the entire galaxy again with the First Order and Snoke. He killed Ben Solo. He did what he kind of sought out to do almost, except for the fact that the First Order's gone now. So Palpatine is the ultimate villain, and he's the GOAT, but he did kind of win. Dustin says, that means they're going to connect to the sequels, damn it. Well, they already are. And let me ask you, Dustin, did you watch The Bad Batch first 3 episodes? And if you did they anger you? Were you like, no, Palpatine cloning? No. I don't think so. I don't think you were. Because they are doing it so perfectly that no one gives a flying rat's ass. That doesn't even make sense. Chris says, when Emperor Palpatine looked at the Snoke clone, do you think that was Darth Plagueis? Or do you think it was actually Snoke he saw? Hang on. That just made me think of something. They have a very crazy chance to do something wild here. absolutely wild here. Actually, let me put up a poll first. Let me leave you guys on that cliffhanger for a second. Let me put up this poll here. Do you think the Bad Batch will connect everything? Yes or no? You tell me. And let me finish your cliffhanger off. That just made me think of something very, very cool. Darth Plagueis is alive during the events of The Phantom Menace. He's still alive. Palpatine goes and kills him after the events of The Phantom Menace. In between episode 1 and episode 2 is when Palpatine kills Plagueis. Meaning, Plagueis, in canon Star Wars, is still alive during the prequel trilogy. So he could, in theory, take Plagueis' body and use it as a vessel for his cloning experiments. Now, a lot of fans thought that Snoke was just a clone of Plagueis when the sequel trilogy originally came out. That was the whole big theory, was Snoke is just Darth Plagueis, resurrected or still alive or cloned. It was always going to be Plagueis. That's what a lot of people thought. And that's just not how it went. But what we've seen in recent past is that Disney is clearly listening to the fans. They're clearly hearing what we're saying, and they're making adjustments. What if one of those adjustments is Snoke was kind of Plagueis? He was a clone of Plagueis, but at some point, if you go all the way back to the beginning, one of the first clone specimens that Palpatine was working on was actually Darth Plagueis. That would be kind of cool. It's a pretty good theory, and I actually kind of like it, Chris. I kind of like it a lot. Oh, Fearless with the first ever super chat. I really do appreciate that. Says, for Mike and the people who love Star Wars. I really do appreciate that, with a 2 of some strange currency. Just kidding. I really do appreciate that, though. That is very generous, and I appreciate you. That is very nice. I do appreciate it quite a bit. But you made me lose my spot in the chat. Damn it, Fearless! No, I'm kidding. Send more. Just kidding. Okay. Tony says, I guess I need to add an initial to my name to differentiate me. At this point, there's so many damn Tonys. That's true. There's a lot of Tonys in this chat for sure. I'm okay with sequel connections as long as they fix it. Yeah, me too. For sure. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says, lies, deception. Every day, more lies. Yes. Maybe. Possibly. Mace, what's up? Tiffany says about the sequel cast, money talks. They'll be back eventually. Yeah, I mean, they threw so much money at Daisy Ridley to bring her back. They're going to throw a lot of money at the other actors to bring them back as well. It's more of, is the story good? And Daisy Ridley is reassuring us that the story is good. That's why she came back, obviously, and the money. But they're not going to get John Boyega back after what they did to his character in the sequel trilogy if the story is not there, if the story's not really, really good. Yeah. Cat's Boss says, maybe if the script isn't all girl boss and everyone is a hero in the movie, then they are probably not too pleased with and they're probably not too pleased with the director also. Talking about the Rey movie, yeah, the director obviously it's a whole nother thing, but it's all about the story. It doesn't matter who's directing the story. It's kind of the same situation with The Acolyte. Not a lot of people like Leslie Headland, but it doesn't really matter if the show is really, really good. It's a Sith-centered show. It takes place before The Phantom Menace, before the entire Skywalker Saga, in a place where we've never been before, in live action, with a brand new cast of Jedi, with hopefully Darth Plagueis and Darth Tenebrous, and other connections to the Sith. That sounds amazing. So if it's done correctly, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing with the Rey movie. It doesn't matter if Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is the director. You still got Stephen Knight as the writer. You still got a bunch of other people here. Like, it could be still really, really good. Star Wars for Life, what's up? What is up? Ian says, I don't think we are told Tenebrous' master's name. Darth Tenebrous' master? I forget. It's like saying the ABCs backwards, you know? You get to ZYXW, and then you're like, what's before W? So it's like Palpatine, Plagueis, Tenebris, and then you're like, shit, which one's next? I forget. There's a list somewhere, but I don't even know if it's actually canon list or not yet, but yeah. Yeah. I think Plagueis will be like 200 years old. Yeah, so Plagueis is a mun, or a moon, or a mun. He is a species that lives for a long, long time. I believe over 200 years or something like that. So he could definitely still be alive at this time. Plagueis should have been Snoke. I agree with that. I think Snoke definitely should have been a cloned version of Plagueis or something along those lines. I guess that's just not what they wanted to do. But there's still always hope. Yeah. I keep seeing different time frames for the Acolyte, from 150 years to 50 years before the Phantom Menace. Yeah, I think it's 100. But somebody has to fact check me on that because I'm not 100% sure. Didn't Ki-Adi-Mundi say that? Say what? Probably, though. He said a lot of stuff. He said, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? If that's what you mean. Dustin says, I hope we get a Tales of the Sith. Okay, a Tales of the Sith show would be incredible. I think there's still a lot to explore with the Tales of the Jedi show, and I always ask this question, but I'm asking it again, so deal with it. What do you guys want for the next 2 Jedi for Tales of the Jedi Season 2? Honestly, I probably think it's going to be Asajj Ventress because of her return in The Bad Batch Season 3, and they're going to have to explain how she survived the events of the Dark Disciple novel. But even if it's not Asajj Ventress, what are the 2 Jedi that you would want to see in Tales Season 2? But Tales of the Sith, going back to what Dustin said, would be incredible. There's so many Sith Lords from the Old Republic and even before that are like so intricate characters that fans don't really know anything about, really. And I guess you'd have to maybe tell their story first to do a Tales of the Sith, but there's a lot of characters that we know about now, like Asajj Ventress, like Count Dooku, like Darth Maul. There's a lot of their stories that need to be filled in. Even Darth Palpatine. Darth Sidious, or Palpatine, could get a young Sidious Tales of the Sith type story. So there's a lot to go there. Maybe even is Ben Solo even is Kylo Ren considered a Sith? What do we think? He could possibly be in that as well. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says, are you reading The High Republic? Or do I like The High Republic, and am I reading it? I've read through all of Phase 1, and I really, really enjoyed it, actually. The story's really good. The characters all brought in are really, really good. They do a good job of giving a bad guy when there is no Sith around. That's what I thought. And the Nihil are that, and Marchion Ro is a good bad guy and all that stuff. So I read all through Phase 1, and it was really good. A lot of good new Jedi characters and other characters, but I haven't started Phase 2 yet, and Phase 3 is coming out now, and I'm still very far behind. So did I like it? Yes. Am I currently reading it? No. That answers your question. Chris says, I'm watching the Avatar The Last Airbender on Netflix right now, and I'm watching episode 6, but I'm about to be on the last 2 episodes. I'm about to be with only 2 episodes left. It's an okay TV show. I actually just started that yesterday. I think I just started it yesterday. I'm already on episode 3. It's incredible. I love the Avatar The Last Airbender animated show. Again, Dave Filoni being a genius. He did all that. But I thought maybe the live action wouldn't be able to be done correctly. Maybe the firebending, waterbending, airbending, earthbending wouldn't be done good in live action. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. I'm loving every second of it. But again, like you said, you can binge watch it in like 2 days. I like the week release of each episode because then you have something to look forward to. If it comes all out at the same time, then you watch it all at the same time, and then you're like, oh, I gotta wait 2 years for season 2. Like, you want to stretch it out and enjoy it for as long as possible. Yeah. But I am absolutely loving the live action Avatar show. So, yeah. Yeah. Zap says, yeah, I saw Collider say 50 years for the Acolyte. I don't know what the time frame is now. I thought it was 100, and I'm pretty sure that Lucasfilm themselves have said 100. But yeah, the Collider article did say 50, and it threw me off. Yeah. Ian says, who was it who pointed out that Snoke kind of looks like Dr. Hemlock? I forget who that was. Was it you, Ian? Are you being sarcastic? But I forget who that was. But yeah, it's actually not the worst prediction ever. He kind of does look like him. Kind of. Now, obviously, Snoke is this massive, like, 10-foot giant-looking dude, and Hemlock is not that. He's a human. But maybe that's what happens when you become a clone Force-sensitive version of Palpatine. It's possible. It's definitely possible. It would be really, really cool to see Hemlock in this third season absolutely lose it. Like, he gets Omega back, but the Bad Batch ruin his plans, and then he just jumps in a bacta tank himself and starts injecting himself with the blood, and he starts to just grow, and he turns into Snoke, and he's like, "Sup, guys?" And he's just like electrocuting people with his Force lightning. That'd be kind of crazy. He turns into like Frankenstein type thing, or like the Hulk. Yeah, he turns into Bruce Banner, or turns into the Hulk. That'd be pretty cool. Salty says, the real flaw in the entire storyline is all the bullshit that happened on Octu and Snoke's ship. So you're talking about just The Last Jedi, pretty much. The Last Jedi is a very divisive movie. There's a lot of fans who absolutely hate it, and there's some fans that absolutely love it. So, yeah, that is not really good when it comes to pleasing a fandom, but yeah, there's a lot of flaws with that story, for sure. Maggie says, why did Palpatine have Maul in The Phantom Menace since there was the rule of 3, or rule of 2, you're saying? That's a great question, because I just said that Darth Plagueis was still alive at the time. So the rule of 2 was put into place by Darth Bane, and the reason for that was because all of the Force was sort of spread out. The dark side of the Force was spread out amongst hundreds, if not thousands, of Sith Lords. So Bane was like, why are we allowing us to be weaker when there's more of us? If there's only 2 of us, a master and an apprentice, we'll be the strongest dark side users in the galaxy, and all the dark side energy will be focused on us and only us. But the mission of the rule of 2 is always to have the apprentice become powerful enough to overturn the master. That's how it always works. And then the apprentice finds another apprentice, and they overturn them, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So the same way that Darth Plagueis killed Darth Tenebris and Palpatine killed Plagueis, Palpatine was already looking for his apprentice, and Maul was it at the time. And then he gets Dooku, and then Dooku gets Asajj. Same thing going on there. And he eventually gets Vader, and Vader, in Legends at least, gets Galen Marek. So there's always the apprentice looking for an apprentice so that they can overthrow the master. That's always sort of the rule of 2 and how it's just working, you know? That's just how it goes. Yeah. Good question, though. Ian says, I think they said Sidious killed Plagueis a while before The Phantom Menace. I don't know how it is in canon, but at least in Legends at least, he is still alive during the events of The Phantom Menace. At least. Yes. Another huge shout out to Fearless for the very generous $2. Dustin says, a clone of Plagueis would be really, really cool. I agree. A clone of Plagueis would be awesome. And if the Bad Batch is giving us that would be insane. Yeah. Salty says, why not? Throwing all the money at these Disney movies is not helping them in the long run. A $200 million budget needs a huge return to break even, and it's not happening for a lot of them. Why not what, though? I'm confused what you're questioning. But yes, I agree. They're throwing way too much money at these movies when they know for a fact that they're not going to perform well. A lot of these movies, when you look at Marvel, for example, the Miss Marvel movie, they knew in the back end that was not going to be a wilding success like an Avengers movie, or even Spider-Man No Way Home, or even Captain America Civil War. Like, they knew it wasn't going to be that. So why make it? You're going to put $250 million into a movie that you know isn't going to be a success. It's just really, really dumb. So I hope that's not what they're doing here with the Rey movie. I hope that's not what they're doing with the Mando movie or the Dawn of the Jedi movie. I hope they really have a good story to tell and are telling it in a good way that will make them billions. Because if they do it right, let's be honest, there's a bajillion of us crazy Star Wars fans that are going to spend money on merchandising, tickets. We're going to go watch it multiple times in the movie theater if it's a good movie. So if it's good, it'll make billions of dollars, like The Force Awakens made $2 billion, and it will make so much more in return in merchandising, lightsaber sales, ticket prices to the theme parks, literally everything will go skyrocketing if you make a good movie. It's as simple as that. Just make a good movie. That's it. And people will come. The Force Awakens was a good movie. It made $2 billion. $2 billion. Could it have been even a better movie? Probably, and it would have made more money. $3 billion. Star Wars fans want to watch Star Wars. So make it good. And you'll make all the money in the world. All the money you could ever desire. Yeah. Rose, what's up? The Acolyte doesn't sound interesting at all. I'll just wait for the reviews first. Fool me once. Interesting. The Acolyte doesn't sound interesting? I actually completely disagree with that. I think The Acolyte sounds like the most interesting of the upcoming projects. Yes, we're already in the Bad Batch, so I won't talk about that. But as it goes for Andor Season 2, Skeleton Crew, The Acolyte and Tales of the Jedi, which are your next 4 projects, I think The Acolyte is the most interesting to me. A Sith-centered show, pure and simple, is interesting. The first ever show to focus on the Sith is awesome. But when you throw in the fact that it's before The Phantom Menace, in a time period where we've never seen before, the cast is absolutely loaded with big-time actors in Hollywood. And it's got a whole brand new cast of Jedi. If you've seen the leaked trailer, then I think you'd be a lot more excited. If you haven't seen that leaked trailer, I may or may not have that leaked trailer. I definitely don't have it. But if you want the leaked trailer, just hit me up in my DMs, that trailer is incredible, and it makes you really, really excited for it. So I think The Acolyte is very highly anticipated by a lot of Star Wars fans. Yeah. All right, let's see it. This is what people want for Season 2 of Tales of the Jedi. Cat's Paw says more Qui-Gon and Yoda. Qui-Gon would be a cool one because we don't really get to see him learn to become a Force ghost. He just goes out and does that by himself. So that would be cool to see. And maybe even some more young Qui-Gon like we saw in Season 1 of Tales. And Yoda would be awesome. I mean, Yoda's been around for 800 years, so he's got all the history in the world that you could go to. I'd love to see a very, very young Yoda learning from his master. That would be cool, but I doubt that's very unlikely. Yeah. Rose says, I want Balin's skull and Shin Hati's story in Tales of the Jedi. Balin would be a really cool one. The only reason I don't think it's going to be Balin, though, is Tales of the Jedi was already sort of confirmed and ready to go before Ahsoka came out. And Ahsoka came out, and then people got really excited about the character of Balin. And it was before even Ray Stevenson passed away. So I don't think Balin's going to be in Season 2, but maybe he'll be in Season 3. Yeah. And Shin Hati would be a cool one as well because she's the apprentice of Balin. She would just be there with him, you know. Austin says Mace Windu and Ben Solo. Mace Windu would be a cool one, especially if you're going to have him come back from the dead, but I doubt that. But even a young Mace Windu would be cool as well, showing him come to power and get a seat on the Jedi Council. Like we kind of saw a little bit of that in Season 1 of Tales of the Jedi, but even more of that would be cool. And Ben Solo, yeah, Ben Solo's a great one, because then you get to see Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple. You get to see Ben Solo falling to the dark side, a lot like Dooku did in the first season of Tales. Yeah, Ben Solo's a no-brainer. It would be a great option for that. Yeah. Fearless says, I hope Super Chats support the channel. The currency is Europe. Euros, sorry. I understand that. Should be almost the same as the dollar. Yeah, no, I get it. Super Chats very well support the channel, Fearless. They really, really do, and I appreciate it more than you know. Yeah, they do. They do a lot. They do a lot. Salty says, think of it. The fan film Wingman came out last month. That was 50 minutes of excellence, and it wasn't nearly the budget that Lucasfilm has tossed up, and it was way better. Wingman? I don't even know what that is. Hang on, let's look it up. It's on YouTube, I'm guessing. Wingman. Is it like a Star Wars fan film? Wingman, Star Wars. Oh, fan film. Wingman, 1 month ago. Ooh. Kind of looks cool. I don't want to react to it because I don't want to get shut down, you know? But that's pretty cool. Yeah, fan-made films are very interesting to me. I mean, you got big ones like Star Wars Theory making the Vader film, but you have smaller ones that are very low budget that are really, really compelling stories. It doesn't need a massive budget to be a very well told story. And I think that's where a lot of, especially Disney productions, are missing the point. They're missing the point entirely. Yeah, for sure. Salty says, "Oh my God, Wingman is one of the best fan-made films ever made. I'll have to check it out after the stream. We can't watch it now. It's 50 minutes long, first of all, but also because we get copy struck real quick, and we don't want that. So I'll check it out after the stream for sure." Yeah. Dustin says, What is in the movie being thrown was so big? Wait, what? What is in the movie with Thrawn was the big bad? What? Oh, what if in the movie where Thrawn is the big bad, it was then revealed that Darth Jar Jar was the real villain? Okay, I get you now. That would be crazy. And I seriously doubt it. I really seriously doubt it. By the way, guys, we are at 27 people in the chat right now, and that's the most we've gotten to since Ahsoka, so I really appreciate you all being here, and smash a freaking like on this stream and hit subscribe. But, yeah, I appreciate it. Fearless says, "I think Ben Solo, or Kylo Ren, is not considered a Sith. Snoke neither." Yeah, Snoke's not considered a Sith. Obviously, they don't call him Supreme Leader, Sith Lord Snoke. They just call him Supreme Leader. And Kylo Ren isn't Darth Kylo Ren. He's just Kylo Ren. So I don't think either of them are Sith, which is kind of strange, honestly. Yeah. Dustin wants to see Plo Koon and Shakti in season 2 of Tales. Plo Koon would be a cool one, and if Dave Filoni has anything to say about it, he'll probably have Plo Koon in there because he loves Plo Koon so much, but we'll see. Yeah. Mace says, "Just emailed you the Empire Magazine's Star Wars article, all 26 pages of it. Not sure if you wanted them, but I have sent them anyway." I appreciate that, Mace. I'll have to check that email after the stream later on. 26 pages, that's awesome. Yeah, I want to read those interviews for sure, and they're still not publicly released. They're still only in magazines in the UK, so I appreciate it a lot, Mace. I really do. I can't wait to check those out. I got a lot of homework to do tonight. 50 minutes of Wingman and now 26 pages of news articles or news magazines from Empire. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Maggie says, "I walked away for a half a second and I heard an ad." Oh, well, there you go. Salty says, "If Lucasfilm wants my attention, from now on, they can make a Shin Hati a sensual story." Oh, God. Yeah. More Shin Hati is what Salty's saying. Yeah. Oh, no. Just scroll down to the bottom. Come on. Where was I? Skywalker Academy says, "The Last Jedi can't make everyone happy. Misdirection is the way of LFL." LFL. What does LFL stand for? Life, freedom, and liberty? I don't know. Austin says, "Palpatine killed Plagueis off camera." Yeah, obviously Plagueis isn't in the Phantom Menace. It's not like he just missed him. He's not in there, but he does kill him off screen, yeah. Chris says, "They should have had a plan. Lucasfilm to have Plagueis be the main villain of 7, 8, 9 in Star Wars with Supreme Leader Snoke, and have Luke Skywalker's character not involved." Oh, wait, sorry, Luke's character involved, and that would have been dope. Yeah, I mean, if it was Plagueis and it was Luke Skywalker beating up on Plagueis, it would be a way better trilogy. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree. Yeah. Lucasfilm Unlimited? That's not LFL, though. What? Salty says, "You can thank me later for bringing up Wingman to you." I will thank you later if it's really, really good. Yeah. Yeah, I will. Fearless says, "I really liked The Last Jedi. Saw it in the theaters with my son. It was really good. It was a really good movie, in my opinion. The Rise of Skywalker is a whole different story, and I won't even get into that." Yeah, they're both very divisive movies, for sure. I appreciate all the hearts, guys. I really do. They're both very divisive movies. I think The Force Awakens is actually a very solid Star Wars movie, and then it just goes downhill from there, you know? Ben Solo needs his own series for younger years, turning into Kylo Ren until his redemption in The Rise of Skywalker. Then he wakes up in the world between worlds, and his grandfather gives him a quest to return to the living. First of all, would be incredible. But yes, we need Ben Solo, a young Ben Solo story. Him rising up in the ranks as a young and coming Force user in Luke's Jedi Temple as he's falling to the dark side, being pulled by Palpatine on Exegol and Snoke, or by using Snoke in the First Order. It would be awesome. It would be so cool. So if Lucasfilm or Disney, if you're watching, and we know that you are, please make a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show. Make a Ben Solo falling to the dark side show. Whatever you want to call it. Make it. I really appreciate the hearts, guys. I do. Is the Acolyte about Darth Revan? No. The Acolyte is definitely not about Darth Revan, but there is some rumors going on that Darth Revan will be seen in like a hologram or some sort of cameo appearance, but that's a very vague rumor, so I wouldn't take that. I take it with a giant grain of salt. Yeah, but no, it's not about Darth Plagueis. Jason, what's up? How we doing? What is up? Fearless says, "Oh, Dr. Hemlock. Anybody notice his hand has a glove on it? There's something not right with that." Yeah, and he's always looking at it. I think his left hand is the hand with the glove on it, and he's looking at it all the time. He like is fixing it or doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, it is a very good catch. I don't know what's going on with his left hand, but there's something going on there. Dr. Hemlock has a little bit of mystery behind him. He's created this vine weird creature thing on that planet that was in episode 2 of The Bad Batch, which could come back to be a very important piece of the puzzle later down the line. But the Empire created that. Dr. Hemlock created that vine creature in episode 2 that was so gross and scary. But now he's also created this gas that he had in season 2 that knocked out Crosshair. So he's been working on some weird stuff for the Empire, and he doesn't want to just be a cloner. He wants to be, as we saw in episode 3 when Palpatine comes to visit, he wants to be the main scientist guy for the Empire. And he's going to do anything he possibly can to get to that role. So Hemlock definitely has some mysterious skeletons under his pillow, if to put it in a way that's that we don't know about yet. Yeah. Maggie says, "The Rise of Skywalker didn't make any sense to me. They killed off all the Skywalkers. Which one rised?" Yeah, the Rise of Skywalker, and they all just die. I mean, the rise could be many different things. The rise of Ben Solo back, who's a Skywalker. When Ben Solo climbs himself out of the trench, that could be the rise of Skywalker. Or it could be Rey rising to become a Skywalker. I don't know. It's an enigma. It's an enigma, for sure. Cat's Paw says, Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi Season 2 are the only ones that caught my fancy so far. Well, hopefully the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew will as well, but they're still a little ways away. A little ways away. Jason says, "I think that's Brendel Hux on Mount Tantus in the Mandalorian time era. He's finally finishing the work that Dr. Hemlock started." Jason, that's a great point. So let's talk about this. How is this all connected? Let's get to the point here. How is this all connected? So in episode 3, we hear about Project Necromancer. Now, Necromancer, what the hell does that mean? Necromancer is, by definition, one who uses magic or sorcery. That's what Necromancer means, which is strange, because Project Necromancer is about Palpatine cloning and trying to create a clone so we can live forever. There's not much magic or sorcery going on there. Why is it called Necromancer? Well, let me bring up this point right here. Hang on, let me pull this up here. Project Necromancer, Star Wars, Bad Batch. So as we saw Project Necromancer in the Bad Batch, we saw this room right here. It is very strange to me, as it's in the thumbnail as well. It's very strange to me that no one is really talking about this room at all. Specifically, this room. This room is very strange. There's got Sith writing on the ground, first of all. I have not translated it because I'm not really good at that, but if somebody could translate that, that would be fantastic. There's Sith writing on the ground here. You got these weird, like, almost world between worlds looking circles going around and all this other stuff. We know from Star Wars Rebels that Palpatine has dabbled with a little bit of Sith alchemy or Sith magic, to put it in a different perspective. So this could not just be cloning, not just be trying to make a Force-sensitive clone, but also the fact is getting Palpatine's essence into this being will need magic, Sith magic, Night Sister magic, something along those lines. Necromancer is not the project to create clones. That's just not what it is. It's to create a Force-sensitive clone that Palpatine can put his essence, his life essence, into. That's very different. So this scene right here, this one scene that nobody seems to be talking about, with the weird-looking World Between Worlds stuff on the ground in the Sith writing. Guys, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, at least, if there's not another 2 behind this thing in the middle. There's at least 12, if not 14, or maybe even more, of these Bacta tanks, protected Bacta tanks in this room. 14. So they're either all clones of Snoke, they're all clones of Plagueis, they're all clones of something. Why 14? Why? It's a little strange. Obviously, you could just say you have more of a chance to get it right, but this room is weird, dude. It's just weird. The World Between Worlds stuff with the red, it's very Sith magic-y stuff. And the Sith writing is very interesting as well. And honestly, this ties into the World Between Worlds. It ties into what's going on in the Mandalorian, but it also ties into magic in Star Wars. Magic in Star Wars has only been seen a few times. It's only been seen with the Night Sisters and Palpatine trying to do Sith magic. And that's it. There's really not been any other instances of people using magic, except for Mother Talzin and the Night Sisters and then Palpatine. And that's it. So the fact that Necromancer, by definition, is one who uses magic or sorcery is really, really interesting. I go into this, I deep dive into this in this video that comes out tomorrow. And that'll release tomorrow, probably around 1 p.m., if not 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But this scene is of the utmost importance because it ties into everything. Now, let me get into this thing that Austin just said here. Maybe that's Grogu in those Bacta tanks. It's definitely not Grogu because we know there isn't 14 Grogus at the time of the Bad Batch. There's only one. So I don't think Grogu has been taken by the Empire just yet. I think he's probably still with Keller and Beck that we see in The Mandalorian Season 3. But let's talk about how this connects to The Mandalorian and the sequel trilogy itself. So in The Mandalorian Season 3, do you guys remember the Shadow Council meeting? Give me a 1 into the chat if you remember the Shadow Council meeting in The Mandalorian. Give me a 1 into the chat. So this meeting right here with with Moff Gideon. Oh, wow, that's very zoomed in. With our boy, Moff Dead Gideon. All right, perfect. Got a lot of 1s in the chat. I appreciate you. All right, so Moff Gideon, with him in this meeting, with all the Remnant of the Empire leaders, the leaders of the Remnant of the Empire. So you got a bunch of people around this room, but the most important guy in the room is Commandant Hux. Commandant Hux, or Brestol Hux, or whatever his name is the father of... What's his son's name? What's Hux's name in the sequel trilogy? What is Hux's name? Somebody help me out in the chat, please. What the hell's his name? Why can't I think of his name? General Hux. Oh, is he the son? General. We'll go with General. Is the son that? Okay, whatever. So his son, General Hux from the sequel trilogy, this is his dad. So his dad is the one who is still working on Project Necromancer. So Project Necromancer is being worked on here in the Bad Batch, and then 25 plus years later in The Mandalorian Season 3, it is still being worked on by the Empire. Now, we can assume that General Hux's dad, Commandant Hux, is on Mount Tantus still, working on this, or he could be anywhere else in the galaxy, I guess. But it's possible that he is still on Mount Tantus. So, with this being said, that means Project Necromancer has not been a success yet. It has not been successful at all. Meaning, Snoke is still not around. By the time of The Mandalorian Season 3, 25 years-ish, give or take, after the Bad Batch, Project Necromancer is still not finished. That tells us a lot about what's going to happen in this Bad Batch Season 3, because Dr. Hemlock is not going to be successful with his cloning efforts. So, that's the first connection to The Mandalorian itself. The mention of Project Necromancer, but actually seeing Project Necromancer with this weird Sith-looking room with a bunch of protected Bacta tanks with Palpatine and all this weird Sith writing and other weird world between world stuff. So it connects perfectly to this council meeting 25 years later. But that means that Mount Tantus is possibly still intact, and it means that Project Necromancer is still not a success, and Dr. Hemlock's efforts have failed. So that leads us to ask the question, what the hell happens in The Bad Batch Season 3? Does Hemlock die? Does Nala Se die? Does Omega never get captured again by the Empire? Does the Bad Batch take down Mount Tantus, blow it up to smithereens, and destroy all of Palpatine's cloning efforts up until this point? That remains to be seen, and all we can really do is predict about that. But let's go into how this ties into the sequel trilogy. Let's say the Bad Batch come in and destroy Mount Tantus. Palpatine is going to realize that with the rising of this resistance or rebellion in the galaxy, he is in danger. He's in danger, the Empire's in danger, but his cloning efforts, the thing that is most important to securing the future of the Empire, is in danger, and he will take it to a place where no one, not a single person except for him and his apprentice Darth Vader, because of the two Sith wayfinders that they have, can get to, and that is Exegol. So I think by the end of this third season of The Bad Batch, we will see Exegol, and we will see Palpatine move all of his cloning efforts to Exegol. And that's when and where Project Necromancer will be finished, on Exegol. And I think Mount Tantus will be blown up by the end of this season. Dustin just put a 1 into the chat. That's actually really, really funny. But I think it will be blown up by the end of the season, and I think we will be getting to see Exegol in The Bad Batch as well. So a lot of this is being connected to The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and all this other stuff, but it also connects to everything in between. Palpatine always has been obsessed with cloning. From the very beginning, he's been obsessed with trying to live forever. And Project Necromancer is the most important thing to that. This third episode right here, this one scene right here, was the most important thing that we've seen in Star Wars, as connective tissue at least, to everything around it in years. Everything. From what happened in The Mandalorian Season 3, to what happened in Ahsoka with the World Between Worlds in Peridia, and all the Sith writing on the temple on Peridia, all the way to what's going on in The Rise of Skywalker. It connects all of it in a small little show called The Bad Batch. It's absolutely wild, and it's just the beginning. It is just the beginning. This is episode 3 of 16, or 15, I guess, confirmed, but I do know that there's going to be a 16th one, or I don't know for sure, but there's going to be. Yes. So it's all connected, is what I gotta say. It's all connected, and this is helping the sequel trilogy. Now let me ask you guys something. I put this up on Twitter. Let's head over to my X, formerly known as Twitter profile here. If you guys aren't following me yet, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for, but head over to A Guy Who Loves Star Wars and follow me on Twitter. So I put this on my Twitter yesterday. As you can tell, it's going off. I got almost 1.5 thousand likes. It's crazy because I don't have a big Twitter following. But it says, has The Bad Batch Season 3 already made Palpatine's return in The Rise of Skywalker better? Project Necromancer is the key to bringing the entire saga together. So I got to ask you guys, has The Bad Batch Season 3, only the first 3 episodes, already made Palpatine's return in The Rise of Skywalker better? Actually, I'm going to pull this up in the stream. Okay? Let's do this. Let's start up a new poll. So what was the old poll? Do you think The Bad Batch is going to connect everything? So, perfect. Let's see where that ended out. Let's see if the math is mathing on that poll. It is not, but that's okay. 89% of you guys said that you do think that the Bad Batch will connect everything, and 10% said no. Allie, what's up? Anthony, what's up? David, what's up? We got a bunch of people in the chat that I haven't caught up to yet, but let's start this poll right here. That math ain't mathin'. No, it ain't. All right, let's pull this up. Has The Bad Batch Season 3 already made Palpatine's return in The Rise of Skywalker better? Yes or no? After the first 3 episodes, that's it. Has it already made The Bad Batch Season 3 better? You tell me. The Rise of Skywalker better. You tell me. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's still early, but with over 13 votes right now, 13 votes so far and counting, still going up, 93% of you guys do think so. You do think that this, just the premiere of The Bad Batch Season 3 has already made the sequel trilogy better. The Rise of Skywalker better. And this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy because I've been the advocate of this for years now. Creating content around the sequel trilogy that will make it better. And a lot of fans who are very hesitant when they hear the word sequel trilogy or are like, damn it, that sequel trilogy sucks. You got to retcon that. No, blah, 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 blah. No, Mike, no. Don't connect to the sequel trilogy. No, don't do it. All those people have been very hesitant. But they also enjoyed the premiere of The Bad Batch. And not only that, but that premiere has helped fix the sequel trilogy. So not even within 40 years of the sequel trilogy, you are able to help fix it. There is no limitations to how much you can fill in the plot holes, fix the sequel trilogy, maybe even retcon a few things here or there to make it better. So the same way that you're helping Palpatine's return, somehow Palpatine returned, you're explaining it 40 years prior, you can do that with Luke. Luke's fall to the dark side, I would say. Luke's fall to being an old hermit on Arc 2. That could be fixed in a big, big way. What if there's 30 years here? What if he has a wife named Mara Jade? What if he has a secret child and that wife and child gets murdered by Snoke? What if there's a cloned version of Luke Skywalker because they got his hand from Empire Strikes Back and they created the cloned version of Luke Skywalker and then he had to go into hiding so that they couldn't get more of his blood to create an entire army of Luke Skywalker clones to destroy the entire galaxy? What if that's why he went into hiding? To save the entire galaxy? What if we got an actual explanation as to why Ben Solo fell to the dark side, not just because he had one bad dream? Imagine? And what if they continue this Palpatine cloning story, this Project Necromancer story, and fill in all the gaps in The Rise of Skywalker? Imagine a world where the sequel trilogy is not nearly as hated. I'm not saying everybody's going to love it. I'm not saying that the sequel trilogy will even be liked by most. But I think it could be explained. And in a world where Luke Skywalker makes more sense, Ben Solo's fall to the dark side makes more sense, Palpatine pulling the strings the entire time from Exegol makes more sense, then I can sit down and watch the sequel trilogy and enjoy it. I can understand why Luke is an old hermit on Arc 2. I can understand how somehow Palpatine returned. Yes, there are things that will never be explained. They fly now! They fly now! Never be explained. Never. But the big things, the Luke Skywalker things, the Ben Solo things, the Palpatine things, the main important things that can be explained, that can be fixed, that can be filled, will be. And I can sit down and watch The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker and have fun. Salty, of course, says, never gonna happen. The damage to the Star Wars fandom has been catastrophic. I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. Because there are projects like The Mandalorian Season 2, like Ahsoka, like right now seems like The Bad Batch Season 3, that can bring the Star Wars fandom back together. Even after the events of the sequel trilogy, The Mandalorian Season 2 came out a year later. And the Star Wars fandom had never been more together. Never. Having Luke Skywalker show up at the end of that season, having Ahsoka be in there, having all these... There was nothing more gratifying than seeing Luke Skywalker show up and save the day, seeing Grogu leave Din Djarin, R2-D2 roll into screen, and have a scene with Grogu. There was nothing better than that. And that was after the events of the sequel trilogy. Since then, you've had similar instances, in some cases, to that. Clone Wars Season 7. Ahsoka. They've been far and few between, where the fandom has really, really felt together in something. But I think there's more on the way. And I think The Bad Batch Season 3 is one of them. Yes. Austin says, comparing the Bad Batch, or having the Bad Batch connect to the Rise of Skywalker is genius. It really is. It is. And I think that's why this third season is so important. Just as I've been saying for months and months and months that I wasn't that excited for the Bad Batch Season 3. I really wasn't. Because the first 2 seasons didn't impress me that much. Yes, they were good Star Wars content, but no, they didn't connect to anything. The first 2 seasons were so unconnected to anything that it was like, why? Why are we getting this show? What's the point of this show? And now this third season's like, this is the point of this show. Those first 2 seasons were building up the characters of the Bad Batch. They were explaining Omega's growth and arc. Yes, we got cool stuff like Cad Bane in the first season, Fennec Shand in the first season, and in the second season you got Harrison Dula and all. Yes, it was cool. Sure, whatever. It wasn't really connecting anything together. And now this third season, right off the bat, is connecting the Mandalorian, the sequel trilogy, the prequel trilogy, everything. Everything is being connected. It's quite insane. Yeah. Yeah. Jason says, I do really think that many people will look at the sequels with different eyes. Okay, Jason, let me expand upon that a little bit, because I agree with you. But there are some fans, obviously haters gonna hate, you know. There are always the small portion of the fandom that yells louder than everybody else, who is, doesn't matter how genius it is, doesn't matter how good it is, are gonna complain. People complained about The Empire Strikes Back when it came back in 1980. It came out in 1980. They were like, this isn't the same as the first one. This is terrible. People complained about the freaking Revenge of the Sith when it came out in 2005. Complaining about Hayden Christensen's acting. Complaining about how this isn't the right, it shouldn't be the right end to this trilogy. People are dumb. A lot of people are dumb. However, I'd like to think of it this way. The majority of the Star Wars fandom is very smart, intelligent people like ourselves. And those people have open minds. And those people are open to seeing a story that gets told where we can actually get to see a brighter horizon on the sequel trilogy. Think about the prequel trilogy for a second. A lot of people who didn't like the prequel trilogy absolutely love the Clone Wars. All 7 seasons. And it makes them love the prequel trilogy as well because it expands on the characters of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Palpatine even, Count Dooku, Grievous. Those characters that you get very little screen time with in the prequel trilogy are thrown into 7 seasons. 7 seasons of an animated show where you get new characters, obviously, like Ahsoka Tano, Captain Rex, and all others. But this could be the same thing. Now, it is 40 years before the sequel trilogy with the Bad Batch, but it is connecting to it. It is making it better in a very similar way as the Clone Wars did. And I really hope, I really, really hope, and Lucasfilm, if you're watching, and we know that you are, I really, really hope you're listening and you do make a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show that could fix it all. It could. If you have the right writers behind it, it could fix everything. Everything. Imagine a 7-season show of Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, Han Solo, Ben Solo. All of Luke Skywalker's younglings that we've never met before. All these new characters that we've never met before. Falling in love with them and then having them get slaughtered by Ben Solo in a Order 66 type fashion. Imagine how good that would be. Getting to see Coruscant and Leia get thrown out of the Senate because she was related to Darth Vader. Having Han Solo and Leia's relationship fall into pieces because of Ben Solo's fall to the dark side. Getting to see that in 7 seasons of an animated show would be the perfect way to go. But we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see for now. Because right now, the Bad Batch is connecting all these things. The next step would be to go to a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, but that might be later down the line. For now, we have the Bad Batch. And I don't think this is the end of the Bad Batch connecting to the Mandalorian, connecting to the sequel trilogy. No, I think this is just the start. We have 13 more episodes. 13. And I think we are just getting started. All right, that's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. Let me check what you guys are talking about in the chat, and then we'll get into some other news here as well. Whew. I just talked for a long time. Were you guys even listening to me? Was I making any sense there? Did that make any sense at all? Right now with 25 5 votes in right now. 88% of you do think that The Bad Batch Season 3 has already helped make The Rise of Skywalker better. That's wild. Isn't that insane? Literally 20 minutes of Episode 3, 20 minutes of Palpatine, Project Necromancer, Mount Tantus, just 20 minutes helped make The Rise of Skywalker and Palpatine's Return better for 88% of you guys. Isn't that wild? Is that not mind-blowing to you guys like it is to me? That's insane. That's insane. And now that begs the question, what more can they do? How much more can they really connect this entire saga together? What haven't we thought of? What could be connected to The Mandalorian that we really just haven't thought of yet? What could be connected to other things that we haven't thought of yet? The hidden path is a great example of this. The hidden path, and this is why I brought up Obi-Wan Kenobi earlier on in this stream. The hidden path could be another thing. Could be a perfect example of the next step here in The Bad Batch. The hidden path is the underground railroad, so to speak, version for the Jedi in the Star Wars galaxy. After Order 66, they're all on the run from the Empire, from Palpatine, from Vader, from the Inquisitors that are hunting them down. In the hidden path is the way for the Jedi to move around safely. I think The Bad Batch could give us the beginning of the hidden path, because we know that Asajj Ventress will be in this show. She's in the frickin' trailer. And with Asajj Ventress is usually Quinlan Vos, and Quinlan Vos has been mentioned with the hidden path in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So if The Bad Batch introduces the hidden path, that connects not only Project Necromancer to The Mandalorian and the sequel trilogy, but that also connects The Bad Batch Season 3 to Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, the Kenobi show, and Star Wars comics that have been talking about the path for a while. Yeah. So there is a lot that they could do in this 3rd season to connect everything. Everything. And I can't wait to see it. I think the hidden path is definitely something that we could get in this 3rd season, the beginning of it, because Asajj Ventress, Quinlan Vos could be in this season, and we could get the beginning of this actual hidden path. Yeah, I do think so. All right, let me catch up on some chats here. Let me see. I don't even remember where I left off. So if I miss any of your chats, I really do apologize. I like to read everybody's chat. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Holy shit. You guys are chatting a ton, and I absolutely love it. Oh, I might have found it. But I read that. Okay, there we go. Tiffany says, yeah, I saw it. It made me more excited for The Acolyte. Oh, you saw The Acolyte trailer. Yes, Tiffany, I did send it to you, and it did make you more excited, didn't it? Yes, that trailer is incredible, for sure. Cat's Paw says, the Hidden Path storyline would be great to see. I agree, 100%. Asajj Ventress is going to be awesome. Yeah. Jason, oh, I already read that. Jay says, what happened to Skeleton Crew, Mike? It should have been out already. That's a great question, actually. Skeleton Crew is probably not going to come out till the end of this year. You're probably looking at October or November release date. And that is very far away from now. And I really don't have an explanation as to why, except for maybe they just wanted to space out the projects and wanted this release to come out this way. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe they had to do reshoots. I don't know. I really have no idea. But the way we have it is The Bad Batch now, The Acolyte next, probably Tales of the Jedi after that, and then Skeleton Crew to round off the year. Yeah. Anthony, what's up, says, Mike, just got here and voted yes. However, I really hope The Bad Batch doesn't attempt to correct the stupidity that the sequel trilogy is with equality writing of the Mandoverse? Stupidity of the sequel trilogy with the... Oh, quality writing of the Mandoverse. I hope the writing continues to be good. I think the Bad Batch writing is extremely is extremely well written, and I hope it doesn't go the route of the sequel trilogy, if that's what you mean. Cat's Paw says, I thought that about Dr. Hemlock's hand the first time I saw him playing with it. Sometimes some experiments might have gone wrong. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, there's definitely something weird going on. He's playing with his left hand. He's got a black glove on his left hand. It's weird. It's definitely weird. I don't know what's going on. Dr. Hemlock is a mysterious character, and there'll probably be something pretty big revealed about him later down the line. Yeah. Yeah. Star Wars for Life says, have you seen the trailer for the Clone Wars fan film Took Tales? No, I've not. I'll have to check that out too. I'll have to write down all these things. Or you guys just put it in the Discord so I can send it in the Discord to the Star Wars videos tab. So if you guys aren't in the Discord, there's a free Discord in the description below. We got a bunch of people in there, a bunch of awesome, cool, fun Star Wars fans. So go in there and send those links in there. Yeah. Yeah. Salty says, you can thank me later. Oh, I already said that. Salty says, if it's good, my friend Wingman makes Kathleen Kennedy angry because of the Top Gun style testosterone. You will grow a full beard overnight after you watch it. Okay. Is it like a Top Gun type thing? Like for Wingman? That's pretty cool. I think that's what Rogue Squadron was going to be, Patty Jenkins' movie that was canceled. I think at the time, they were probably like, it's going to be like a Top Gun thing, but Top Gun hadn't come out yet, so it wasn't, or it's the second one, I should say, hadn't come out yet, so they didn't think it was going to be this massive success like it was. So they probably thought Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie seems a little too small for a Star Wars movie, especially after what happened with the Solo movie, not making a lot of money. And then how the sequel trilogy ended out. They didn't want the next Star Wars movie to be a small fighter pilot movie. They wanted it to be a big movie like The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah. Star Wars for Life says, where is Darth Revan from? Like the planet he's born on? I'm not too sure, actually. Or do you mean where is he from in the timeline? Because in the timeline, he's from the Old Republic. Darth Revan, home world. Darth Revan is born on homeworld. Wait, what? Oh, planet Derelia. Sure. Yeah. But he is from the Old Republic. He's a Jedi turned Sith Old Republic character. He's probably one of a lot of fans' favorite characters. A lot of fans, yeah. Yeah. Cappy, what's up, says, I work for Disney. My name is Cappy Kennedy. That's awesome. That is so good. That is so good. Yeah. Anthony says, it should have. It should have what? It was supposed to release around Thanksgiving 2023. Oh, he's talking about Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew was supposed to release around Thanksgiving 2023, but supposedly the writers and actors strike affected the release schedule. Also, season 4 of The Mandalorian connected to it. Yeah, so Skeleton Crew is supposed to tie into the greater story of the Mandoverse. It's supposed to connect to The Mandalorian and Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett, and those characters are supposed to be brought into Dave Filoni's movie. We just don't really know how that works yet. That's the weird thing about Skeleton Crew is I think it's going to be really good, but I don't know because I don't know what it's going to be about, and that's the big mystery with that. So we can't really tell about the Skeleton Crew until we get a trailer or a release date or anything. Yeah. Yeah, Dustin says, I hope in the Mando movie, Luke gets electric judgment. What? Jesus. May says, one of my distant cousins is actually going to work for Disney as an engineer in Germany, apparently. Oh, get that inside information, Mace. Come on. David says, Kylo Ren wasn't really all that bad of a dude, despite the bad things that he did. He was misunderstood, in fact. Kylo is more of a gray area for a character. I mean, he's very similar to Vader. But also, him and Vader killed thousands of people. Like, Kylo Ren is definitely not a good guy. He slaughters all of Luke's Jedi Temple, his friends that he grew up training with. He kills countless people when it comes to leading his army in the First Order. So, yeah, he's not a good guy, that's for sure. But he is definitely misunderstood. We'll put it that way. Rose says, do I need to do any Star Wars homework before the Acolyte comics, books, recommendations? I don't know, because the Acolyte from the trailer at least, it's all brand new characters. So I would say maybe read like the first phase of the High Republic books, like just the first 3 main ones. But even then, like I don't think any of those characters are going to be involved. So I don't think so. I think you can go in just knowing nothing because it's a brand new time in the galaxy that we don't know any of the characters from. So I don't think you really need to do any homework for the Acolyte. Yeah. Star Wars 4 Life says the creature vine things were a little sus. What? Fearless says, and I'm convinced now that Snoke is a clone / mix of a Kaminoan / human. Would explain the strange way his body looks and his height. Yeah, I mean, the Kaminoans are the only creatures or species that we see in the Star Wars galaxy, from what I remember, that are really anywhere close to the size of what Snoke looks like. But even then, Snoke is this big dude with a big head. And the Kaminoans have small heads, and they're really, really skinny. So, I don't know. Snoke is a mystery still, for sure. Dustin says, do you read any of the Star Wars books? Yeah, I read a decent amount. I haven't read one in a while, but I read all of Phase 1 of the High Republic. I've read a ton of Legends books, too. But canon-wise, lately, probably the last book I probably read was Shadow of the Sith that I got behind me there. That's the one with Luke Skywalker and Lando a few years before the sequel trilogy. That's a pretty good book, too. Yeah, I'd love to be reading more. I just can't really find the time. I want to read more of the High Republic stuff. There's a book that we're going to talk about in a minute here that's coming out soon. That's about the rise and fall of the Empire. That's coming out soon. Or not very soon, but it was just announced to be coming out. So that'll be cool too. But yeah. Catspaw says, does anyone think that Drake in the Bad Batch episode Retrieval looks a lot like Hemlock? What? Drake in the Bad Batch episode Retrieval. I don't know what that means. But yes. Anthony says, Mount Tantus, also known as the island of Dr. Hemlock. I truly believe the slender vines are a product of the Drengir, which is from the High Republic, the Sarlacc pit, and a combination of exotic plants. Yeah, it was very Sarlacc looking, for sure. When it tried to grab the whole ship, it looked like the Sarlacc pit, like just a massive version of the Sarlacc pit. So maybe it's something along those lines. But Dr. Hemlock is clearly working on some crazy stuff over there with the Empire, for sure. Yeah. Catspaw says, Rey is not a Skywalker. A lot of fans do think that. Rey is not a Skywalker, and some fans think that she is. But it's kind of how they're going to go about it in the Rey movie. If they're going to call her Master Skywalker, like, I don't know. Tiffany says, I feel like for The Rise of Skywalker, Ben Solo should have been the one who defeated Palpatine 2.0 right after his death rather than Rey. Would have connected his story similar to Anakin's redemption. I agree. I think Ben Solo probably should have been the one who saves the day and saves the Rey. Saves the day and saves Rey. Very similar to the way saves the day, saves Rey. Similar to the way. I can't rhyme. Similar to the way that Luke has to get saved by Vader. It's not that Luke isn't still the hero of the original trilogy, like Rey would be, but Ben Solo would save her like Vader saves Luke. I think it would have been poetic, meaningful. Have a Skywalker actually kill Palpatine. It would have been great. It would have been great. Yeah. No, Rey is a half clone of Palpatine. Yeah, it is interesting because she's not the granddaughter of Palpatine. Because she's the daughter of a clone of Palpatine. So she's technically the daughter of Palpatine. But also, it's a clone of Palpatine. So she's not really related to Palpatine at all. I don't know. Tiffany says, therefore, the title Rise of Skywalker would have made more sense as well. Yeah, if Ben Solo did it, it would have made more sense for sure. Yeah. Salty says, Kathleen Kennedy was quoted as saying, I think the Rise of Skywalker doesn't answer anything. What? Did she really? I don't know about that. I haven't seen that. I don't know about that. Skywalker Academy says necro means dead tissue. Mancer means romancer or animator. Interesting. But necromancer, if you look up the definition of define necromancer. Necromancer, a person who practices necromancy, a wizard or a magician, a person who practices magic or sorcery. Yeah. Yeah. So there's definitely some magic going on with this project. It's not just cloning. There's some Sith magic going on there, and that's why this room looks like this. And there's some Sith magic going on here. It's not just cloning going on Mount Tantus. Yeah. Anthony says, do we have any translations for the Sith symbols / writings on the floor in the secret lab room? Not that I've seen yet. I mean, nobody's really tagged me in anything or I've seen anything online about the translations of that room. It is kind of like, it's not blurry, but it's like far away. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I got some more homework to do as well. I don't know. I don't know what it says, but it definitely should be translated. So if anybody has a translation for that, hit me up. Star Wars 4 Life says, I thought Tech might be in there, but I don't think he would be that important. Oh, you think he would be in that room? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think Tech is coming back. I think the first 3 episodes kind of made that clear that Tech is not coming back. Yeah, I just don't think so. Maggie says, remind me in the Discord later. I'll see if I can translate the writing. Okay, cool. Cool. Fearless says, Mike, 33 people are watching. We got up to 33? That's crazy. That's wild. That's the most we've gotten up to since Ahsoka ended. Ahsoka, we hit the record. It was a 56, I think. 56. It was crazy. Yeah. Austin says, maybe Palpatine transferred his essence into Grogu. I doubt that. Yeah. Star Wars 4 Life says, I'm getting my bird in less than a week. Oh, yeah. What are you naming it again? Hunter? I forget. That's awesome, though. That's awesome. Salty says, I only remember Queen Lizzo and Prince Jack Black. Yeah, that was something. That was a time to be alive, you know? That was a time to be alive. Project Necromancer has to be Starkiller Base. No, Starkiller Base is something else entirely. I don't know if Starkiller Base has a weird secret title like that, because the Death Star does. It's Project Stardust, but I don't know if Starkiller Base does. Project Necromancer is definitely the cloning stuff. Starkiller is something different. Yeah. When I was watching The Bad Batch Season 3, I was like, Mike was right about Omega being Force sensitive. I know. Come on. But in all honesty, a lot of people were saying that before, so it wasn't just me. So there's a lot of people saying that she was Force sensitive before that happened. And actually, a lot of people are in denial about that. About her being Force sensitive still. I don't know how, I don't know why, but a lot of people are in denial that she is Force sensitive at all. So we'll see where that goes. Skywalker Academy says Project Necromancer has nothing to do with Starkiller Base. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Nala Se is going to get executed for protecting Omega. That would be wild, but I don't think that will happen. Actually, that can't happen because Nala Se was is the key to all of this. She's the best cloner in the galaxy. That's why they kept her alive this long, is because she's the one who can clone. She's the real brains behind this whole operation. Yeah. Hemlock is a genius. He's done some things very well in the past, but cloning-wise, the Kaminoans are the real minds behind all of it, and they killed all the Kaminoans except for Nala Se. So, yeah. Can I get some good cups? Follow orders in the chat, please. This thing never disappoints, you know? It never disappoints. I mean, look, it's bigger than my head. Crazy. And it's got some good water in it. David says, Star Wars Jedi Outcast is a very awesome game from 2003. That game shows other things that the Empire were updating after the Battle of Endor. The Empire was still in power and still enslaving people and building weapons. Yeah, the Empire didn't just disappear after Palpatine died. obviously we're seeing the fallout of that in The Mandalorian right now, with the Remnant of the Empire, Moff Gideon, Project Necromancer, all this stuff still happening. Some people awaiting Thrawn's return, which now he has returned, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Jedi Outcast is a very cool game, but I think it's a Legends game now. I don't think it's still canon at all, so I don't think it can be canon, actually. Now that I think about it. Yeah. Fearless says, Starkiller Base is a super weapon, not a cloning project. Yes, indeed. Am I doing call-ins today? I don't think so. Maybe by the end of the stream. Remind me at the end of the stream, and if we have time, then we will do them. I think we might switch call-ins to the Tuesday streams, the prediction streams, so that we can get people in to give their predictions for the upcoming episode for the week. So, I don't know. I'll let you know, but as of right now, just remind me at the end of the stream, and maybe we'll do them tonight too. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says, not sure how I missed that scene. I watched it 3 times. What scene? The one with the... What? I don't know. Anthony says, my God, I don't care about Exegol. Interesting. That's not a creation of George Lucas or Filoni. It was a dumb idea by J.J. Abrams. Interesting. Caused by Rian Johnson's idiocracy writing. Please let go 50 years ahead. I actually disagree. I like Exegol a whole lot. I think it was a great idea created by J.J. Abrams. And yes, it doesn't have to connect to George Lucas or Dave Filoni. Everything doesn't have to be created with him. Oh, you missed the cloning pods in the vault? How did you miss that? That was like the biggest part of the whole show. But no, I disagree. Exegol should be a very important piece to the puzzle. Because if Palpatine saw cloning as this very important thing and he wanted nobody to get anywhere close to his cloning efforts, that he would put it as far away as possible, and Exegol was a hidden Sith planet where he could do so. So I actually do like Exegol quite a bit. If anything from the sequel trilogy should stay, it is definitely Exegol. David says, I think the Empire in Jedi Outcast were finding kyber crystals to build Starkiller Base. Could Jedi Outcast still be canon? Hang on. Is Jedi Outcast canon? Could Jedi Outcast still be considered canon? According to Disney, they say it's not, but it could... Oh, wait. So it's not officially canon, but there might be some aspects to it that could be considered canon, I believe. Austin says, I like how they're explaining the sequels, but better. Yeah, they're kind of just doing it better, just years and years before. Yeah. Ellie, oh my God, I just got to when Ellie showed up. How far are we behind in this chat? Ellie, what's up? Says, howdy. Just got back from the library in Walmart. Awesome. Damn, Palpatine is an evil genius. Also, yes, the episodes do help fix the sequel trilogy. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is Palpatine showing up again in the sequel trilogy is not the issue. He's supposed to come back. He always came back in Legends. He always came back in everything. So it makes sense that he returned. The only problem is the explanation of how he returned. He has always been an evil genius. He created an entire galaxy-wide war in the prequel trilogy called the Clone Wars so that he could take over the entire galaxy. He was the leader of both sides. The Separatists, he was the leader of, and the Republic, he was the leader of. And he created an entire galaxy-wide war that he was controlling, literally pulling all the strings from behind the scenes, while taking over the entire galaxy, executing Order 66, creating the Empire, taking it all over. So it would make sense that, yes, Palpatine is still an evil genius by the time of the sequels, and he's pulling the strings. He's putting these visions into Luke's brain that Ben Solo's a bad guy. He's luring Ben Solo to the dark side with Snoke, and he's building the First Order up into power. It makes sense. Palpatine is an evil genius. Yes, I agree. Yeah. The math don't ever math. I know. Sometimes it does. May said the Sith texts in the scene don't translate very well. I managed to get a few letters, though, and the right side says A-I, but it's definitely Sith text. It's definitely Sith text, yeah, we know that. But A-I, yeah, it is hard to make out because it's like cut off in certain places, but maybe it puts out a word. I don't know. Maybe. Anthony says, Mike, you know how I feel about the sequel trilogy. Yes, I do. And the concept of trying to rationalize it, I couldn't care less. I'd rather the Bad Batch just tell its own story, apart from the crapola of Disney and of Kathleen Kennedy and co. Well, the Bad Batch is telling its own story. The thing is it's telling its own story while also giving us more of Palpatine's cloning efforts, which makes the most sense because that's what Palpatine has been doing the entire time. So it's explaining the sequel trilogy while also telling a great story at the same time. And I know how you feel about the sequel trilogy. Yes, I do. Skywalker Academy says, then why are you here then, Anthony? And honestly, Skywalker Academy, play nice. Everybody's welcome here, but he's here because although he doesn't like the sequel trilogy, he still likes other aspects of Star Wars, and this is the people who love Star Wars. It doesn't say the people who love all Star Wars or the people who love certain parts of Star Wars or the people who don't dislike any parts of Star Wars. All are welcome. But yeah. David says, it makes stories in the sequels better. Yeah, I agree. Fearless says, so we're back to Sifo Dyas. Okay. Why did he order the clone army? The Jedi didn't know anything about it. Palpatine, though, is obsessed with cloning, and he probably started way before the prequels with it. So, yeah, we're back to Sifo Dyas. Sifo Dyas created the clone army because he had a force ability that would have him see visions of the future, like Anakin did. And those visions told him that there was a galaxy-wide war coming, the Clone Wars, and the Republic needed to be protected. So he went to the Kaminoans, he told the Jedi Council first, and they said, you're an idiot. And then he went to the Kaminoans and ordered millions of clones. Then Dooku and Palpatine find out about this, and they kill Sifo Dyas and take over the cloning efforts themselves. And then Palpatine comes into power, and we see the prequel trilogy play out the way that it does with the Clone Wars. Yeah. But it all does kind of go back to Sifo Dyas. Anthony says, I can't vote for this question because it's irrelevant to me. I watched the Mandoverse to get away from and over the sequel trilogy. I don't want the two of them to relate to each other. Well, here's the thing, Anthony. They can relate to each other and also be good. Like, The Mandalorian is good, and it relates to the sequel trilogy. The Mandalorian Season 2 is some of the best Star Wars content we've ever received. And there's still the episode on Navarro where there's the cloning facility that leads directly to Snoke. You hear Snoke's theme when it zooms in on that bacta tank of a thing that looks like Snoke. So it's always going to connect because it's one saga that is connecting all the way through. But the Bad Batch is good by itself, yet it also connects. The Mandalorian is good by itself, but it also connects. So you can enjoy certain pieces of the puzzle and not enjoy other pieces of the puzzle, but they're not specifically just going to be like, The Mandalorian connects to the sequel trilogy, and you better like both. You know? Yeah. Lukey Kruki. What's up, Lukey? Says, Season 1 focuses on Hunter, Wrecker, and Omega. Season 2 focuses on Echo, Tech, and Omega. Season 3 focuses on Crosshair with Omega. Very interesting. Yeah, so far it's Crosshair and Omega. I think obviously the other Bad Batch members will be involved as well. But yeah, for sure. And Season 2 focused on Tech a lot because Tech dies. And Echo a lot because Echo leaves the Bad Batch. So maybe they're focusing on Crosshair a lot because Crosshair is going to die. I think they're all going to die, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Ellie says, Season 3 writing so far of the Bad Batch is better than Rebels. Rebels is better as a whole. I think Rebels is, again, still one of the most underappreciated things ever created by Star Wars. And it's like some of the peak Star Wars to me, at least Season 2, 3, and 4. But Season 3 of The Bad Batch, I think so far, is on the same track as that 4th season, I think. Because that 4th season is just so damn good to me. I think Bad Batch Season 3 so far is on the right track, I think. I think it could be incredible. I think down the stretch it could be even better than Rebels. Yeah. Catherine, what's up? Maggie says, an army of Luke Skywalkers would be terrifying. Exactly. That might be why he goes into hiding. John Groom says, isn't the statement that only Siths deal in absolutes a absolute itself? Only a Sith deals in absolutes? Yeah, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. David says, to be fair, I love the sequel's Palpatine cloning story. It makes sense. To me, it does make sense, but that's because I know all the innards in behind the scenes stuff. Like, I know everything. That sounded horrible. It sounded like I was just hyping myself up. I know a lot when it comes to Star Wars. We'll put it that way. So, I sound like an asshole right now. I know a lot, okay, guys? I know more than you, you know? That sounds horrible. But I know a lot when it comes to the sequel trilogy. And I know what's going on with the story there. I know how it works and how Palpatine returned. I understand that. The problem is nobody else does. That's a bold statement. But the majority of normie fans don't understand how Palpatine returned. It doesn't make much sense. So it needs to be explained. It really, really needs to be explained. It has been explained vaguely in like Shadows of the Sith, in that novel that I talked about before. It has been explained a little bit in The Mandalorian. It's been explained all over the place. Comics, novels, some live action, some animation. But it hasn't been clearly showed to the normie fans. Put it that way. So that's what needs to happen. Because yes, we understand that Palpatine came back, and Palpatine always comes back. He comes back in Legends, and he comes back all over the place. But it needs to be explained for the normie fans, for the canon that we've received now. Yeah. David says, to be fair, I love... Oh, I just read that. Duh. Star Wars 4 Life says, the Porgs are just a win, though. Oh, the Porgs are great. I mean, if The Last Jedi gave us anything, or did anything right, it's the Porgs. The Porgs are awesome. And then having Chewie eat them was... peak. Salty says, every time I watch The Last Jedi, I get the urge to punch things. That's hilarious. Austin says, comparing the... Oh, I already read that too. Yes, the Mandalorian Season 2 finale was awesome. And then KK shit on the unification of the fan base by firing Gina Carano. Yes and no. Obviously, there's that whole situation. But the Mandalorian Season 2 and then the firing of Gina Carano, yes, they are kind of similar, but the Bad Batch, sorry, not the Bad Batch, the Book of Boba Fett was announced right after that. And the Book of Boba Fett was the way that it went. A lot of fans didn't like the Book of Boba Fett. I did. I actually enjoy it a lot more than most. I think the Book of Boba Fett's extremely underrated, especially those last 3 episodes. But a lot of people didn't like the Book of Boba Fett. So we went from a very cohesive together fandom after the Mandalorian Season 2, and then a year later, the Book of Boba Fett comes out, and everybody's back going their other ways. Beta Fett, like this is the, like, yeah. And Disney did it to themselves, but yeah. Jason says, I really do think that this could make the sequels better in a lot of people's eyes. I agree. I do agree. Hera was in the first season? Oh, okay. Hera Syndulla was in the first season. I get you. They fly now. Finn was brainwashed by the First Order since childhood, like every other stormtrooper in the First Order. He's waking up from that brainwash. Him waking up from that brainwash made him think they fly now? Yes and no. I mean, C-3PO is the first person to say that in the scene. He says they fly now, then Finn says they fly now, then Poe turns and says they fly now. Imagine writing that. Imagine writing that script. Let's have C-3PO say they fly now. Okay, what will Finn's reaction to that be? And they're like, oh, they fly now. That makes sense. I mean, he says they fly now. He says they fly now. Sure. What about Poe? What should Poe say? They fly now? Like, what? Yeah. That's something. That's something. Yeah. Cat's Paw says, I like the Bad Batch through season 3 so far. In the second episode, season 3 so far. In the second episode, though good, felt like a filler episode. It wasn't a filler. It was more just telling us or showing us how Hunter and Wrecker, what they're doing and how they're trying to figure out where Omega is and where they took her. It'll definitely be important later down the line. I think those 3 cadets are going to be important towards the end of the show. And we got to see Roland Durant, or Kevin Durant, as we said in the last stream, come back from season 1 as well. Catherine says, I think R2-D2 should explain the 70 years of the Skywalker Saga. He needs his own movie. Imagine it was just R2-D2 beeping the entire time, explaining all of Star Wars. I'd watch that. Would you guys watch that? Would you go to a movie theater, sit down for 2 hours, and listen to R2-D2 go explaining the entire Skywalker Saga? That's genius. Genius. Salty says, I saw Empire Strikes Back in August of 1980, and no one was complaining about it. They were trying to figure out how in the hell Darth Vader got someone pregnant. That's hilarious. But no, there's a ton of articles and all this news stuff about how people hated it. Like, absolutely hated it. They were like, this is not the same. Like, the sequel is horrible, blah, blah, blah. I know a lot of fans absolutely loved it. The Empire Strikes Back is one of the greatest movies of all time. But there were some people, again, we're talking about the minority of the fandom here, that screamed louder than the rest. Yeah. Ellie says, bro woke up and chose to do a monologue. Yes, I did. Today was a good day. Today was a good, I mean, the stream's not over yet, and I'm feeling good. It felt like a great stream. I felt like the monologue, I mean, you guys tell me, was it a good monologue? Was it good? Was it good? I feel like we tied everything together nice with a nice little bow on top. It was good. Fearless says, oh no, did it just go down to the bottom? No. Oh my God, I'm so far behind. I'm never going to find this. I'm never going to find it. I love reading all your guys' chats, so don't you worry. I'm going to read all your chats. Holy shit, how far behind am I? I got to start reading faster or something here. I got to start reading faster or we'll be live for like 4 hours. Okay, I found it. Fearless says, but the Bad Batch is still way better than Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, Mike. Oh, I 100% agree. I'm just saying that it's more connecting to it. I'm not saying it's better than it. What's up, Brandon? Catherine says, I don't remember that much hatred for the prequels. It was more the critics, again, the minority, the critics yelling louder than everybody else. Them saying that the acting was horrible, them crapping on all the movies. Like, critically, those movies are just, like, if you looked at only the reviews from the critics, you'd think those movies suck. Like, all of them suck. But the fans, at the time, they knew what was up. They just didn't have the internet or anything else to sort of talk about it, you know? Yeah. Cat's Paw says, the sequels just didn't have a good connection to each other, and that was the problem. Too many unanswered questions, and that's why everything is where it became in the way that it was. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was very disconnected each episode to the next, having different writers involved, from going from JJ to Ryan, back to JJ. It was a pretty big, pretty dysfunctional setup, to say the least. They should have just been one. Even if it was JJ the entire time, it would probably be a more cohesive and better story. Yeah. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says, I don't understand what you're attempting to say, Anthony. I don't know either. Salty Texas Ranger says, Grogu getting slaughtered by Kylo Ren would have been awesome. I don't think Grogu's at Luke's Jedi Temple during that time. I think he's going to survive past that. So, although it would have been awesome, Salty, I don't think it would, yeah. Brandon, great question, says, will you play the Battlefront Collection Remastered once it's released on March 14th? Yes. Yes, I will, and we will be streaming it on this channel. Yes. And we'll try to be playing with a with the community. Hopefully we can get a lot of you guys on that game as well. Yeah. Tiffany says, you said it all beautifully, Mike. Thank you. A little bit of appreciation in the chat. That's what I like to see, you know? David says, the prequels are are important since they show what happened during the Naboo blockade and the Clone Wars and finally the early days of the Empire. Oh, 100%. The prequels are literally like the most important thing to the whole entire story. They're so damn good. They take up so much time. The Clone Wars, I mean, it's years and years and years. The original trilogy is only like 3 years. The sequel trilogy is only like a year and a half, but the prequels are like decades long. The time it takes up, at least. Yeah. Ellie says, Mike woke up and chose to spit facts. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lukey says, no, the Bad Batch Season 1 and Season 2 connected to Rebels, Kanan, Hera, Chopper, Rex, Gregor, and Wolf. Previous seasons connected to the Clone Wars. Wait, previous seasons, then 1 and 2? Connected to the Clone Wars many times. I agree that they connect to certain aspects. I mean, you see Harrison Dula, you see Kanan Jarrus, you see Captain Rex, but those are very minute, small connections. We're talking about Project Necromancer being the entire plot of these first 3 episodes. Like, that is so important to the story of Season 3 and the story of The Mandalorian, the sequel trilogy, and everything else in between. Yeah. I agree with you that the first 2 seasons did connect in small ways to other projects, but I'm saying that Season 3 is connecting to everything in a big, big way. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. David says, I don't like the Rey character. She is a Mary Sue after all, and Mary Sues are often hated. The Mary Sue argument I don't really like too much. Rey's character, yes, I think she was done wrong in the sequel trilogy. I think she was a very well introduced character in The Force Awakens. I think she should have probably lost to Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base. And I think she's actually not horrible in The Rise of Skywalker, but it's kind of just aspects of those last 2 movies that she's not that great in. And it's just the writing. It's just the writing. Daisy Ridley's a great actress. Rey could be a great character, but it's just the writing. And I think a Rey movie could actually do something great with that character. Yeah. Hidden Path story would be great. I agree, Catspaw. Oh my god, I'm just getting to that now? How far am I really behind? Oh my goodness. Rose says, I was the one who hated the prequels initially since I grew up on the original trilogy. Ooh, interesting. I thought the scripts were lacking conviction. Clone Wars and Ahsoka made me really appreciate the prequel trilogy. There you go. Rose, you're the perfect example then. Somebody who didn't like the prequels when they originally came out because they were so different from the original trilogy, and they just lacked something in the script, like you said. But the Clone Wars, 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, and the Ahsoka show even, which takes place 20 years later, 30 years later, made you love the prequel trilogy. Like, that's something awesome. And I think that's what we could get with like shows like The Bad Batch. And maybe a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show as well. Maggie says, the patience this poor guy has to read everybody and answer everything we say. Mike, you're awesome. Who, me? Patience?
Incorrect.
I appreciate it, Maggie. Yeah, I like to read all you guys' chat. Here's the thing. You guys take your time, your personal time that you could do anything with, and don't leave. Wait. You take your own personal time and you click on this video to watch me talk about Star Wars and talk about Star Wars with me. So if you put something into the chat, I'm gonna fucking read it. And we're gonna sit here and read all of them. Unless you obviously say something horrible or something you're like talking to somebody else in the chat or something, then I won't then I won't read it. Like if you at somebody else in the chat, I'm not going to read that because it's you talking to somebody else, I have ways around it. I got a lot of chats to read here. For sure. Yeah. Ellie says, I was born in October, so I might need to get Skeleton Crew for my birthday. Ooh, that'd be awesome. Let's give Ellie Skeleton Crew for her birthday. Why not? Let's do it. Fearless says, give it out for Mike. He's doing an incredible job. I appreciate that, Fearless. I really do. Hemlock is a little sus. He is. I think there's something definitely hiding with that guy. For sure. Yeah. Ellie says, I don't have Discord. That's okay. Just download it. It's free. It's free. I'll send you the link on the Discord to Took Tales. It's pretty dang good looking. I'll have to check that out for sure. Yeah. Catherine says, I don't remember the prequels having had anywhere near the hate that the sequels does. Well, I think the sequels gets more hate now because of the internet. So fans that have their very vocal opinions and very loud objections to things will go out on the internet and voice those opinions. During the time of the prequels, the only ones who hated it, that had a voice to hate on it, was the critics. And they had the newspapers, the magazines, the actual places to talk about it. Now, the internet, everybody has access to it. You have access to it right now. At the tips of your fingers, you can go type whatever you want on any social media platform that everybody can see. And that can be dangerous, and that can be a great thing. And for the sequel trilogy, for the most part, it's been a bad thing because the haters are just screaming so much louder than everybody else. Yeah. David says, Darth Revan was part Jedi, part Mandalorian. Well, yeah. Kind of. He finds the Mandalorian helmet. It's not his originally, so yeah. Skywalker Academy says, I'm sorry, but that's simply not the case. Kathleen Kennedy saw that Gina Carano was... we're not talking about that now. Come on. Salty says... Oh, no, not reading that either. Snoke blew up the Jedi Temple, not Ben Solo. Well, Ben Solo in the Knights of Ren killed all the Jedi there. Yes, Snoke helped him do that, but they did, in fact, kill all those people. Yeah. Fearless says he killed his own father too. Yeah, I mean, he's not a great guy. He killed his own father. He almost killed his own mom. Or wait, did he kill his own? No, he didn't kill his own mom. But then he tried to kill Luke. Like, he's not the best guy. Yeah. Cat's Paws. Rose says, someone pointed out that Hemlock looks like Jeremy Renner, and now it's hard to unsee. Jeremy Renner, really? Or Renner, whatever his name is. Dr. Hemlock. Star Wars. Let's see. Does he look like Jeremy Renner? Oh, kind of. He kind of does. Jeremy Renner is the guy who plays Hawkeye, obviously, in the MCU. What do you guys think? Does it look like Jeremy Renner? Kind of does. A little bit. That's funny. Hang on, let me find Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner. Oh, fudge. Oh, okay, we good. All right, so here's Hemlock. Here's Jeremy Renner. That's pretty funny. Even like the hairdo is kind of the same. It's obviously darker hair, but similar. It's just like the facial structure almost looks the same. That's funny. That's a good catch. Can't unsee that now. Thanks a lot, Rose. Ellie says, I watched Dune for the first time last night, and I love it. Can't wait for part 2. I haven't watched Dune since part 1 came out, so like years ago. So I'm going to have to rewatch that. I remember it being good, but I just don't remember it too much. So I'm going to have to rewatch it before part 2 comes out. But yeah, I've heard part 2 is actually really good. It's getting great reviews so far, so hopefully it's good. Ray's M count must be very high. It must be. It must be. It must be. Cat's Paw says, Rey is a Palpatine, and no matter how much they tell us or call her a Skywalker, she will always be a Palpatine. I still can't believe that they let Palpatine win in the end. I know, it's really kind of strange because, yes, she is a Palpatine. And yes, this is the Skywalker Saga, and a Palpatine comes out on top. Whether she's a good Palpatine or a bad one, she's still a Palpatine, and she still came out on top, which is kind of ironic. Palpatine was like, I'm going to make so many clones of myself that even if I lose, I will still win. Pretty much. Dune is much better than the one in the 80s, the new one. I have not seen the one in the 80s, so I would assume that it is, yeah. Did Moff Gideon do Project Necromancer? No. So Moff Gideon did his own cloning stuff by himself, apart from Project Necromancer. And he succeeded, so maybe he should be the guy working, or he should have been the guy working on Project Necromancer. Yeah. Yeah. Star Wars for Life says, yeah, Hunter, if the bird is a boy. I'll post pictures of him on the Discord. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. David says, something is going to happen with the rest of the Bad Batch clone commandos when it comes to how they try to survive. Oh, I mean, I think they're all going to die. I mean, at this point, I think they're all going to die. Let's be honest. I think they will. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I just got to the Good Cups follow orders. That's not bad. I appreciate it. Me too, Maggie. Me too. Maggie says, I still love this part of the stream. Me too. Anthony says, as Lucas stated over the years, the sequel trilogy is about Darth Vader's grandchildren and the Star Wars legacy. Kathleen, it seems, didn't want the Skywalker bloodline to continue, thus Super Rey. Yeah, I mean, the sequel trilogy is still about, technically, Darth Vader's grandchild, Kylo Ren. He is still one of the main, if not the main characters of the sequels. But it is obviously a lot more about Rey as well. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Cloning pods in the vault? Yes, the cloning pods in the vault. Cat's Paw says, Nala Se is going to die, either by Hemlock's orders or she gets herself killed to protect Omega and slows the production of the cloning process. The female clones have not learned all of her research yet. Yeah, so here's what I think is going to happen in this Bad Batch Season 3. I think the Bad Batch are going to have to go back and destroy Mount Tantus because of the work that they are doing there. And I think this is going to cause for probably the death of Nala Se. And maybe Nala Se does it herself because she doesn't want her cloning research to get into the wrong hands, like the Empire. She is so unwilling to work for the Empire because, like, we see this in Season 2, she won't work for the Empire because she knows that they're going to use her work for evil, and she doesn't want to do that. So they have to get Omega in and kind of just force her to do so. But yeah, if Nala Se dies, then that's why Project Necromancer didn't work. I think they're going to come very close to finishing Project Necromancer in this 3rd season, and then Nala Se is going to die, and that will literally just ruin everything. And they won't be able to complete Project Necromancer for the next 20 some odd years. Yeah. Jedi Outcast is the best Star Wars game ever. It's definitely up there for best Star Wars game ever, but I don't know if it's the best. Yeah. Mike is really far behind. I am, but I'm catching up. I'm catching up. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Cat's Paw says, now we have Palpatine's bloodline continuing after humiliating, annihilating, and disregarding the Skywalkers. And that's an up yours to the Skywalkers and to the fans. I mean, yes and no. I think the Skywalker bloodline is still going to obviously go on. I hope they go on the route of Rey having kids. I hope they go on the route of either bringing back Ben Solo or having him, like, put his Force essence into Rey and have twins. That'd be awesome. That'd be a good way to go about it. Yeah. I agree with Nala Se sacrificing herself to protect Omega, especially now that she knows that she is the key. Yeah, I think so too. I think Nala Se's a goner, and that's why this Project Necromancer takes so long to complete. Yeah. Catherine says, love the first 6 Star Wars. 7 and 8 are okay. It's the second half of 9 that is confusing and plain bad for me. Yeah, I guess. Sure. Yeah. David says, Jango was the perfect clone template for all the Fett clones. He was incredible at hand-to-hand combat, wielding 2 blaster pistols. Also part that is he was a Mandalorian. Yes, he was a very good choice for obviously the role of creating millions of clones of him, because of his experience as being a bounty hunter. So his clone offspring are probably going to be pretty good soldiers. Yeah. Yeah. What is The Rise of Skywalker? Explain, please. What is the whole movie? In a galaxy far, far... I'm not explaining the whole movie. Here, we'll explain it in 2 lines. They fly now, and somehow Palpatine returned. The 2 best lines. here's the thing. Both the prequels and the sequels at their own times weren't as respected as they probably should. And maybe further down the line they get more respected, at least the prequels so far, and hopefully the sequels at some point. They both are very memeable movies. Think about Revenge of the Sith. All the quotes, memes from that. Hello there. I have the high ground. Like, there is an unlimited amount of memes that come from the prequel trilogy. I hate sand from Attack of the Clones. Like, all of it. It's so memeable because of just the way it's written. The sequel trilogy is very similar. They fly now. Somehow Palpatine returns. I mean, there's just so many in there that are just great for making memes, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are having this massive conversation that I'm just kind of like skipping over because I don't want to interrupt. Oh my god, it just scrolled down to the bottom. Are you kidding me? No. Oh, wait. I found it. I'm actually not that far up. We could make it. We could make it. Cat's Paw says, I'm not saying episode was bad, and I know that it connects to Finding Omega. Oh, episode 2. And I know that it connects to Finding Omega, but it did kind of feel fillery somehow. I'm glad that some of the clone cadets survived, and I hope that the Empire doesn't find Pabu. Yeah, that would be a bummer if they found Pabu, but yeah. I think obviously there's going to be your filler episodes in this third season, but those episodes are just going to be continuing the story and giving us more character development for some of these characters, especially before they die. Like, all these filler episodes with Hunter and Wrecker are going to be their last episodes. Like, I think they're all going to die. Hunter and Wrecker, that is, at least. So enjoy it while it lasts, I guess. Enjoy the filler episodes while we have them. Yeah. Odd says, I missed a lot of the chat. Haha, what did I miss? Okay, let's recap the last 2 hours for him. In a galaxy far, far away. Brandon says, oh, I already said that. Will you play the new Battlefront collection remastered once it comes out? Yes, we will, Brandon. Yes, we will. Yeah. Fearless says, wasn't the Bad Batch introduced in the Clone Wars Season 7? Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Tiffany says, it's amazing that you take your time to acknowledge and read everyone's comments, Mike. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that. I must be honest, though, I'm not reading everyone's comments because people are talking about some, they're kind of like fighting in the chat, and I don't want to get into that, so. They're talking about Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger, and I'm like, no thanks. But I try my best. Yes, Season 3 is starting to fill in some more plot holes. It definitely is, yeah. Odd says, yeah, I missed a lot. Yeah, I agree with people. I liked Rey and don't give two shits unless they bring an actual Skywalker back. Interesting. Like, what was their plan to keep people caring about the future with no ties to this family? It's the family's saga. Well, that's kind of why I think the Rey movie's going to go the way that it is. I think they're going to expand on the future after all this happens. So I don't think we're going to have the Skywalkers involved really at all. They'll be like a legend in the galaxy. I think Grogu's the future, obviously, and a brand new cast of Jedi. Yeah. Clips Films Melbourne, what's up? Says, do you bet if someone let the Zillo Beast escape in Mount Tantus, destroying everything inside the mountain facilities? And I would like to see Dr. Hemlock get eaten by the Zillo Beast. Do I bet that? No. But yes, that sounds awesome. I think the Zillo Beast will play a big role in this third season, some way, somehow. And if it eats Dr. Hemlock, I'll be all for that, too. Yeah, I'll be all for it. Yeah. I'd love to see the Zillo Beast. It would be really cool. Brandon says, aside from the Bad Batch Season 3, is it possible if Ventress could get her own spin-off after she returns in Season 3? I think she will be in Tales of the Jedi Season 2. That's like almost a definite. I think, in my own head at least. But will there be a spin-off show with her? I think it's possible. I think the next animated show could be one of two things. The Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, like I mentioned earlier, or an Asajj Ventress trains Omega in the ways of the Force show, where it's this time period where we haven't really explored too much in between Order 66 and the Kenobi show, where we could get the underworld of Star Wars, the hidden path, and all these Jedi who survived going through it, like Quinlan Vos, like a Baylan Skoll, like a Jude Law's character, like all these characters. But we could also get the Inquisitors hunting down Jedi, hunting down Asajj, hunting down Quinlan. We could get bounty hunting stuff with Boba Fett, who is, of course, the brother of Omega. Hopefully the two of them meet on screen at some point. I don't know. It's possible that Asajj Ventress' story is just kind of getting going in this third season of The Bad Batch, and we could get a lot more of her afterwards. I would love to see that, Brennan. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. Lukey says, I think it's interesting that what they did in the Rise of Skywalker. They should have focused more on the Force dyad introduced in The Last Jedi. However, every time Rey fights Kylo, she learns one/some powers that Kylo's eventually. They would be equal, neither able to kill each other. Kylo would get even more obsessed over killing Rey, and for Rey, the only way to kill Kylo would be killing herself, like the Force dyad in the old comics. That would be kind of crazy. I wish they did lean into the Force dyad more. I thought that was actually a really cool thing to come up with in that Rise of Skywalker. It made a lot of sense as to why Kylo and Rey were so connected the entire time. I wish it was planned from the beginning again, like Palpatine returning. I wish it was planned from the beginning again. Honestly, J.J. Abrams, although The Rise of Skywalker is a mess, it is jumble all around, it does have some pretty cool things in it. Like, he introduced the dyad in that movie, he introduced Exegol in that movie, he brought back Palpatine in that movie, and the execution wasn't great, but there is some very interesting and cool things going on there. Yeah. Clips Films says, it's like something from Half-Life. What? When Cascade started. I don't know what that is, but sure. Cat's Paw says, I like the prequels. Revenge of the Sith is one of my favorites besides the original trilogy. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie. So, yeah, I like the prequels. I actually think Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are extremely underrated. A lot of people crap on those movies, especially Attack of the Clones, for all the lovey-dovey stuff with Anakin and Padme. But that stuff is extremely important to how Anakin falls to the dark side. The whole relationship between Anakin and Padme is why he falls to the dark side, so that needs to be a very important piece to the story. Yeah. He does kind of look like it. Maybe Jeremy could play a live action Hemlock. I don't know if Hemlock is making it to live action. I don't think so. Yeah. Clips Films says, if the Zillo Beast clone doesn't eat Hemlock, then someone should make a sketch of as a fan-made edit of him doing that. That would be awesome. Somebody sketch that out. The Zillo Beast eating Dr. Hemlock. But no, I completely agree. I think the Zillo Beast should play a very big part in this third season. Yeah. Yeah. Damn it, it just scrolled down to the bottom again. Okay, here we go. Odd says, I think if Ben returns, that the child will be the natural way, cough, cough, not a forced baby. Just a thought. The other way might not go over for some people very well, if the child would be very powerful. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't go over well, but I think that's probably the way it will go. John Groom says, I wonder if what Elon's galaxy far, far away would look like. Yeah, there's those rumors going around that Elon Musk is going to buy Disney. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Elon wants that on his plate, so I seriously doubt it. Yeah, but you never know. Cat's Paw says, Rey has Ben's Force baby. Could you imagine the Force child with a Skywalker and a Palpatine bloodline? Honestly, it would be kind of cool and kind of ironic because you got the Palpatine versus Skywalker, the entire saga, leading to Palpatine and a Skywalker having a baby together to lead into the next saga. It would be pretty ironic, but it would be pretty cool to see. Yeah. Odd says, I just think if it's a Force baby, it can't just be him putting his hand on her stomach. Yeah, they would have to have him be a Force ghost, and they did it so that she gets pregnant as a Force ghost. That would be horrible. But yeah. Jay says, we've been going for 2 hours now. Okay, so I'm not that far behind on the chats. But yeah, this is a long-ass stream. And I feel like we haven't even gotten to anything yet. But that's okay. That's why we do it. Jay says, I hope that Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair live, but Omega dies. Whoa! I think it's going to be the opposite, but we'll see. Clips Flip says, can you read my mind? I said I bet. Oh, you said I bet? Did you? I don't think so. Unless I can't read, which is probably more likely. Yeah, it says, do you bet? Do you bet? I appreciate it. I'm back. What's up, Ellie? What's up? What's up? Can they use the World Between Worlds to go back so that George Lucas alters the deal in 2012? No. No, we'll have a Palpatine saga going on instead of a Skywalker one. Imagine the next saga is called the Palpatine saga. That would be horrible. Yeah. I just hope that someone survives the Bad Batch. I'm getting tired of all these Titanic endings like Rogue One. Yeah, somebody's got to survive. They're not all just going to die. That's definitely for sure. Yeah. Fearless says, to be honest, I'm glad when we have this Palpatine / Skywalker stuff finally behind us. I'm eager for a new storyline in the galaxy far, far away. Yeah, as cool as the Skywalker bloodline is, to get stories without them is cool as well. I mean, the Old Republic is some of the best Star Wars content there is, at least in Legends now, and hopefully it gets brought into canon. But that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers at all. So maybe we'll get some new characters for sure. Yeah. Someone can survive the Bad Batch. Crosshair survives. Yeah, Fearless, we know. No, he's not. No. Lurky says, it would be ironic if Rey would be another Shmi Skywalker with a new chosen one. Oh, it's just like starts over. A lot of people have mentioned how similar Rey looks to Shmi Skywalker, who's Anakin's mom. Imagine if it just starts the cycle over again and Rey has, without a husband, has a immaculate child that becomes the next chosen one. That would just be too on the nose, though, wouldn't it? That would be too similar. I love it. It sounds hilariously awesome, but it sounds just a little bit too close for comfort, you know? No, Anakin's the only chosen one. Yeah, you could get that as well. Odd says, yeah, Ben Solo has to come back. I think it's pretty sus, too, how Thea Gunzen, a Reylo fan author, had that project too. Maybe the Rey book set before the Rey movie would make sense. Well, it's a fan book, so it's a fanfic book, so it's probably not canon anyway. But if Ben Solo comes back, I mean, that changes the entire thing forever. It changes the entire story for the Rey movie, at least. I could see him coming back as a Force ghost, but other than that, not really. Balance is not forever. Money needs to be made. Yeah, money obviously is going to be made. There's going to be a conflict in the Rey movie, that's for sure. There's going to be a bad guy at some point, you know? There's got to be. Odd says, Rey having an immaculate conception. Another copying that won't go over well, to be honest. Yeah, it wouldn't go over well at all. Now that I think about it, the way that they got completely shit on for The Force Awakens for trying to copy A New Hope, even though it's very different, has very similarities, a lot of similarities, with Starkiller Base and Rey being from a desert planet and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that would not go over well. You're absolutely right. Yeah. No, she has a project from Lucasfilm, the Reylo fanfic author. She just can't say what it is. Oh, really? She's working for something for Lucasfilm? Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think that Rey will die unless the movie bombs, which I think it has a good chance of doing. I think it does have a good chance of bombing, but I wanna hope that it doesn't. Let's put it that way. Maggie says, Rey half Palpatine and Skywalker through the Force. She is the balance. Kind of she is. Yeah. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I have caught up on the chat. That is crazy. I've caught up on the chat, and that is awesome. So now, with that being said, let's read an article so I can fall behind on the chat again. Let's do that. All right. So we talked about the Battlefront thing a little bit, so we don't have to talk about that. Let's talk about this book that is being written right now about the rise and fall of the Galactic Empire. So this is one of the next books from Star Wars, a new book, Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, to explore the Imperial reign. So this is exclusive. Unlimited power. Shiv Palpatine sure was excited about it. But the concept would prove fleeting in the face of the strong-willed galaxy, and will soon take a deep dive into how the Chancellor turned Emperor tightened his grip and then lost everything. So this book is coming out July 9th, and this is the cover of it, The Rise and Fall of the Empire, and it will follow how Palpatine came to power, and then his fall, and how he lost the power through all of that. So, according to the author, the opportunity to focus on a work-a-day empire, was just the story he wanted to tell. So much of how we think about Star Wars is based around what we see of the rebels, but that leaves a big empty space for the Empire. Now, this is very similar to what we've seen in... Oh, you guys can't see that. This is very similar to what we've seen in Rebels. We get that one episode with Agent... What the hell is his name from Rebels? Callus. Agent Callus, who we get the point of view of him during his time with the Empire. We don't really get any of that, except for that one episode in Rebels. So getting to see a deep dive into the points of view of the Empire, rather than the Rebels, is going to be pretty cool in this thing here. What was their experience of ruling the galaxy and fighting the war? What would people think about the Empire once it's gone? I always found the Empire utterly fascinating, both as a fan and then as a historian. Working on Star Wars Battle That Changed the Galaxy helped me think really long and hard about the in-universe historians might say about the Empire. What will the historians in Star Wars say about that? But it only gave me a taste. I, much like Anakin, wanted more. That's what this book has been for me and Buie-Montkin. No idea. The chance to fully and deeply explore the realities of the Empire and to show all of you what it looks like up close. This is my first solo Star Wars book, but is one I've wanted to write for most of my life. So stay tuned. July 9th is when this book comes out, and that's pretty cool. Getting something from the point of view of the Empire is pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see. So that's going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to be picking that up when it comes out. But let's move right along here to this article here. Okay, let's read this. This is coming from Screen Rant. This says, Star Wars confirms Grogu's role in resurrecting Palpatine. Okay, so there's Palpatine, there's Grogu. Let's read it. 5 years after it was first teased in The Mandalorian Season 1, Star Wars has at last confirmed Grogu's role in Emperor Palpatine's resurrection in The Bad Batch Season 3's premiere. The animated series has kicked off its final season with an explosive 3-episode premiere that sets up the future of the galaxy in the most thrilling way. Taking place just after the fall of the Republic and the rise of Palpatine's empire, The Bad Batch is doing the work of showing how the galaxy adjusted to the oppressive reign, and most notably, how the Empire secured its future. One of the most important connections these episodes have made to the earliest progress on Project Necromancer, which we've talked about for 2 hours now, which was first mentioned by the Imperial Shadow Council in The Mandalorian Season 3. The Bad Batch has revealed this project is directly related to Palpatine's resurrection via Force-sensitive cloning, but it proves to be a difficult task to accomplish. Obviously, creating a Force-sensitive clone, if it was easy, then everybody would be doing it. But yeah, The premiere has also revealed a secret to successfully creating a Force-sensitive clone, which directly ties the Mandalorian and Grogu to Palpatine's resurrection in The Rise of Skywalker. So, the Empire's resurrection experiment needs a source of midichlorians. So this was the thing we were looking at earlier with the Sith text and all that stuff. The key to Force-sensitive cloning lies with midichlorians, which have been referred to as the M count ever since The Mandalorian Season 2, more than likely due to the less than thrilled reception they earned after the debut in Phantom Menace, all the way back in 1999. Essentially, these microscopic life forms exist in all living things, and the higher person's M count is, the more naturally connected they are to the Force. M counts have become especially important in the science of Force-sensitive cloning. In The Bad Batch has started to explain why that is. The biggest struggle for Dr. Hemlock, Nala Se, and the other scientists on Mount Tantus is finding a way to prepare a clone body that can maintain either Palpatine's same M count or higher without degrading the specimen. This is a phenomenal scene directly. Wait. This is phenomenally seen directly in The Rise of Skywalker, when Palpatine's clone body is quite literally falling apart due to the host body and not having the ability to withstand his M count. That's why he's all literally deteriorating in the Rise of Skywalker. Blood that can withstand a high M count. Then he has highly valuable to blood that can withstand a high M count then has become highly valuable to Palpatine in Project Necromancer, which connects directly to Grogu. And why he is so important. Right here you got Grogu. They got a description for Grogu here, but you can see that he got his blood taken because he has a very high M count. The Phantom Menace establishes that Yoda's M count is the highest any Jedi has ever seen before Anakin Skywalker's M count was taken. And as a member of Yoda's species, the same no doubt goes for Grogu. His high M count is even outright stated by Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 4, Chapter 12, The Siege, which is the one on Navarro. Yes. When a recording of himself was sent to Moff Gideon, insisting that he doubts that they will find a donor with a higher M count than Grogu. That is what made Dr. Pershing ask Gideon for access to Grogu again, thus resulting in the child's capture later on in Season 2. Grogu's high M count is ideal because it provides a strong basis for a transfer to take place. As The Bad Batch has established, the main issue with Force-sensitive cloning is the species degrading, and a high M count greatly increases the odds of the clone's own blood retaining a high M count. This at its core of Palpatine's desire for his cloning. Having a M count lower than his own was considered a failure. It's either had to be a match of his own or surpass it, and considering Grogu's M count likely far surpasses Palpatine's own, he is the ideal donor. And that's why Omega also is obviously Force sensitive, because she is a ideal owner that has a same M count as Palpatine or even higher. Now that doesn't mean that she's going to be going around Force pushing, Force choking, Force doing all this stuff, but she has the ability to learn so. So that's kind of what this is all about. But that does, again, what we were talking about earlier, connect directly to Grogu and why they wanted his blood in the Mandalorian. Yeah. All right, let me catch up on these chats real quick. Lukey says, Rey being a new Shmi Skywalker would be fine if the sequels would feel entirely different, but they weren't. Yeah, I guess so. Odd says, she has a NDA as Reylo's author, but she posted a meme of the author day with Rey from The Last Jedi, so it has me on the edge. Yeah, I think she's probably writing something about the sequel trilogy and about Rey's character, but I don't know what it is. Jay says Collins. I don't think we're going to get to Collins today because we're almost coming upon 2.5 hours on this stream, which is crazy. But maybe. Maggie says, If Rey, do you guys want to do Collins? Give me a 1 into the chat if you want to do Collins. And if we have enough people who want to do them, then we'll do them. Maggie says, if Rey was a new Shmi, fans would know that it was a repeat of The Phantom Menace and not watch it. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Cat's Paw says, Rey is not a Skywalker through the Force. She just took the name. Ben just basically gave her her life force back. Yeah, I guess. New conflicts and all will be different. Yeah, true. The Phantom Menace is a remake of the A New Hope, maybe? And Return of the Jedi's ending? Not really. Odd says, if Ben isn't going to return, I'm probably done with Star Wars in all likelihood, or at least post 9, I suppose. But if they were to bring him back, then I'm fine with doing a Rey movie. Yeah, that's possible. Fearless says, what? Grogu? No! Leave him. Leave that sweet pea alone. Mando needs to protect him. Well, Mando is protecting him. That's the whole gist of the prequel trilogy. I mean, the sequel, the Mandalorian, I should say. Oh, we got a bunch of ones in the chat. All right, we're gonna do the Collins then. We'll do Collins. All right, we'll do Collins. We'll do Collins. We'll do him. Yeah. All right, we'll do Collins as soon as I catch up on these chats. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to watch Andor Season 2, The Bad Batch Season 3, and that's all basically. What? You're not going to watch like Acolyte or Skeleton Crew or Ahsoka Season 2 or any of that? We still don't have the answer to one question I've been asking. What does M count raise when one trains in the... Wait, what does M count raise when one trains in using the Force? It's just more the naturally gifted ability to use the Force. Like Anakin in The Phantom Menace. He gets brought in and he is a kid and he can see what Mace Windu's looking at. A cup, a ship, like whatever he says, you know? So it's just the natural ability to use the Force. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Maggie says, they made the prequels for the original series to make sense. Yeah, they just gave the backstory to the original series. Yeah, pretty much. Somehow, Palpatine returns again and again and again. No, Palpatine's done. I don't think he's returning. I'd hope not. Activate the Rey shields. The Rey shields, get it? Rey. All right, let's do call-ins. The call-ins, I said type a 1 into the chat if you want to do call-ins, Maggie. That's why they got the 1. All right, I'm going to open up the call-ins portion on the Discord here. Open up the stage. So you got to raise your hand in there if you want to do a call-in. We got some people in there. You just got to raise your hand to get in here. Maggie's actually first in with her hand raised, so we'll do her first. Inviting you on, Maggie. Inviting you on. Cat's Paw says, I'll watch Ahsoka Season 2 when it comes out. Oh, 100%. Ahsoka Season 2 is going to be amazing. Maggie, what is up?
Hello.
What's up, Maggie? How we doing?
Hi.
This has been quite the stream. I've been talking for 2.5 hours, so I'm going to leave you to talk, okay? But I'm going to obviously lead you in with a question or something so you're not just stranded out here by yourself. So, with the Bad Batch, connecting all these different things, from the sequel trilogy to the Mandalorian to obviously the Bad Batch itself, Project Necromancer, all this stuff, do you think that we are going to get a successful Force-sensitive clone of Palpatine with Dr. Hemlock on Mount Tantus by the end of the Bad Batch Season 3, and that clone either like dies or gets killed by the explosion of Mount Tantus by the Bad Batch or something like that? Do you think there's a successful clone happening this season? What do you think?
Maybe. It's the last season.
It is the last season, yes. It's definitely possible. Do you think that clone will look like Snoke?
I don't know. Maybe it's the clone for Palpatine that we saw in Exegol and Rise of Skywalker.
So you think it would look more like Palpatine? Well, then here's the question for you. Then where does
like maybe that's the clone they're doing.
Yeah. I get you. So they're gonna do that clone that we see in Rise on Exegol. That would be cool, like a deteriorated Palpatine. And in Return of the Jedi, that's like his last hope to transfer his body into. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would be awesome. But then here's the question, and this is an impossible question for you to answer, but I'm asking you anyway. Where does Snoke come into who is Snoke? Like, why is there a giant 10-foot weird-looking creature that we never see before in Star Wars? Who is Snoke? Maggie, answer the question. Who is Snoke?
I didn't even know he was 10 foot.
Oh, he's tall. He's tall as hell.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just asked you an impossible question, so
know.
I don't really expect a real answer, but that's okay.
Maybe Snoke is like the temporary Palpatine, while Palpatine is on Exegol waiting for Kylo or Rey or whoever. Maybe Snoke is there to Trilo so that he's ready for the Emperor.
Makes sense to me. That seems like a great explanation, Maggie. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate you. I'm going to get you on out of here. Last question. Final question, though. Final question. How excited on a scale of 1 to 10 are you for episode 4 of The Bad Batch?
And first 3 were awesome.
First 3 were awesome. All right. I appreciate you, Maggie. I'm going to get you on out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get the next person in. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we got Cat's Paw, a nice member of the channel. Like to get our members in here. Cat's Paw, I'm inviting you on in. Cat's Paw, what's up?
Hey.
What is
doing
up?
Good.
You doing good? I like to hear that.
Just doing good.
All right, let's hear it. What do you think is going on for the rest of this 3rd season?
Oh,
not to give you an impossible question, but what do you think is happening for the rest of time in Star Wars?
Oh no, don't give me anything impossible. Well, I think Nalase is going to die. Like I said earlier in the chat, I think she's going to sacrifice herself, to stop the cloning episode, because I mean look at Snoke, something terribly went wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
But let's see. I'm just hoping, like I said, for some reason, I think Omega does survive. Pabu does come into it. The 3 clone cadets do come into it. Like you said, the play on that. I think it's going to lead into my clone rebellion somehow.
Of course.
My clone rebellion, but I just think Wrecker, I don't know, for some reason I just feel like he's the clone that does survive and the rest of them don't, because we're going to have Hunter. He's going to sacrifice himself to save everybody else, and it might even tie in him and Nalase somehow, help destroy the cloning facility and everything else. But obviously, some of it does survive because Exegol and everything. But there's going to be a major setback just from what the Bad Batch and the whole crew does.
Yeah, so let me touch on the first thing you said. I absolutely agree. I think Nalase is a goner, because that has to be the setback, because if she is still alive after this season, then she's just going to complete the whole project, and by the time of The Mandalorian, it'll be done. So she has to die at some point. But going to your record topic here, you're actually not the first person. I actually was answering comments earlier today, and I saw a comment of somebody saying that they thought Omega and Wrecker were going to survive too. Wrecker's an interesting character, because Hunter makes sense because he's the father figure for Omega. His death would make sense. Crosshair makes sense because he's on this redemption arc type thing, so it would make sense for him to die. Wrecker doesn't really have a reason to die, so maybe he doesn't. He continues on with Omega as well. That's a good point.
Well, I think Wrecker seemed like such a, I don't want to say a dummy, but he's a lot smarter than I think people give him credit for. He's a survivalist, but he's just a nice person. He gets along with everybody, but I think he has the best survival skills in his head, and I think he'll just get him somehow out of it, the whole thing. I'm just gonna be heartbroken, I know. But it's
gonna be quite a sad ending, that's for sure. All right, before I get you on out of here, last question: do you think this Bad Batch Season 3, not fix the entire sequel trilogy, we won't put it that far, but do you think it will be the first stepping stone, let's say, to filling the holes, filling the gaps, fixing, quote-unquote, the sequel trilogy? Do you think it's possible to do so?
I think it will fix in some of the holes because now we know how Palpatine returned.
Yes.
Um,
The
and
infamous
how
line.
he's, it's going to go on into I think that's going to just keep going on to the next series, the next series, the next series. I just wish they almost have to have this maybe in the Rey show. I mean, they'll explain why nobody knew how Palpatine returned. Even though, it's setting up for the Bad Batch and to the Mandalorian and probably into the Ahsoka whole thing. But
Yeah.
somewhere there was a disconnect, so it has to, hopefully, like you said, I think it is going to fill in the holes.
Yeah, I agree.
Of what was left in the sequels.
I agree. I
Yes.
appreciate it, Cat's Paw. I'm going to get you on out of here, and we'll get Jay in, and maybe we'll do one more
Nice
after
talking
that.
to everybody.
Yeah. See you later, Cat's Paw. I appreciate you. All right, Jay, let's get you in here, and then we'll maybe do one more after that if I think Tiffany might want to come in, and then we'll get off these call-ins. But Jay, let me invite you in here. And I completely agree with Cat's Paw with what she was saying. I mean, I think it's very highly likely that we do see a lot of connective tissue even further down in this third season. Jay, what's up? Jay, what is up?
Hello?
You're a little bit quiet, Jay, but could you just turn yourself up a little bit?
Okay. Is that better?
That is a little bit better. Even more would be nice, but that's okay. I can turn you up on my end, actually. Here, let's try that. Okay. Let's...
Would that be better?
That is a lot better. Yes, that is a lot better.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. All right, Jay. What are we thinking about this third season of The Bad Batch? Do you think there's any possible surprise appearances in this third season? We obviously have seen Asajj Ventress in the trailer. We've seen Cad Bane in the trailer. We've seen Fennec Shand in the trailer. But do you think of any possible, maybe Boba Fett, maybe Vader, maybe Quinlan Vos? Like, who do you think we could see in this third season?
I could definitely see a Boba Fett because he is a clone.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see maybe Quinlan Vos. I could see that.
I can see that
maybe
too.
like a Jabba the Hutt or like
Ooh,
other
Jabba the
bounty
Hutt.
hunters.
I wonder how much, like, because we saw a lot of Underworld in the first two seasons. We got some the Pike Syndicate. We got some of like Kevin Garnett or Roland Durant or Kevin Durant, whatever. What we were saying last stream. We got a lot of the Underworld in the first two seasons, which we haven't really gotten much of in this third season, and it doesn't really look like we might get much of. But Jabba the Hutt's a pretty would be a crazy sight to see. That'd be awesome. All right, let's talk about
Hold on. I also think I would definitely see Darth Vader. Then do you think we could see Sid in this third season again?
All right, Sid. Fucking Sid. By the way, guys, in call-ins, only I can swear, just so I don't have people coming. That's not an open invitation to swear on call-ins, okay? But fudging Sid. Sid is the worst. I hate her so much, and I hope she does make an appearance in this third season to die. It would be awesome because if, like we said, Omega, she gets captured by the Empire because Sid turns her in. If her brothers die in this final season, she's going to go back and exact her revenge. So I'd love to see Sid have a final appearance in the final episode of just Omega going and killing her like stone cold Han Solo style, That'd be kind of cool. I like the question though. I do like the question. All right, I got a follow-up question for you. All right, so the sequel trilogy, we were just talking about it at length. It's a very divisive topic, to say the least. Do you think The Bad Batch is on the right track to fixing the sequel trilogy?
Yes, I can definitely see like the Palpatine stuff. I can definitely see it, but I think I have to go more in depth with all the Luke Skywalker stuff. How he ended up on Octo as a hermit.
Yeah.
Like I don't like they gotta go in depth with that, but I could definitely see the Palpatine stuff going.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think The Bad Batch is just the start to it. Connecting to Palpatine, obviously. The whole Luke stuff and Ben Solo will have to be done in probably a different series. I just actually looked at chat and completely reminded me of some character that we could see in this third season, actually. Do you remember seeing Saw Gerrera in the final episode of Season 2? He was actually the reason why Tech died, because he blew up that base, leading to Tech's death. Do you think we could see Saw Gerrera in this third season, maybe, somewhere down the line?
Well, I could see him going and trying to help them blow up Mount Tantus.
Yeah,
like at the end.
when they all come together. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
very similar to the end of Rebels, where we get all the people kind of come back together and help them out and to destroy
yeah,
Mount Tanz. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. All right, Jay, I appreciate it. Let me give you a same question I asked Maggie earlier. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for episode 4? And actually, follow up to even that. What do you rank out of 10 those first 3 episodes combined, all of them combined?
Okay, I'll give it a solid like a 8.5 out of 10. Episode 2, yeah, I do like Hunter and Wrecker, but I could feel like it was more of like a fill-in episode to get away from like the Mount Tantus stuff.
Yeah,
But I liked it. I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. And then I'm hyped for this next episode. Can't wait till I watch it on Wednesday
yeah, me
because
too.
I'm not waking up at 2 in the morning going
Damn.
to go watch the show.
Well, Jay, I'll be
I need
here at
sleep.
2 in the morning. I don't need sleep, I guess. But I appreciate you, Jay. I'm going to get you on out of here. I
All right,
appreciate you.
see ya.
See you later, Jay. All right, Star Wars for Life, I'm going to get you in here, and then we'll get Tiffany in here, and then we'll close out the call-ins. Star Wars for Life, I invited you in. Star Wars for Life, what is up?
Hey,
What is up? How we doing?
we're doing good.
That's always good to hear. What do we think about The Bad Batch Season 3 so far?
Oh, I've loved it. So when I got into my little Star Wars career, fun fact, I actually used to hate the animated series because I was like one of those people. But then I was like, okay, I ran out of live action shows. I might as well do it.
There you go.
So I started watching Rebels first, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of good. And then I ran out of that, and I was like, no. And then I started watching the Clone Wars when I was like 7 or something, but I didn't like it. But so I ended up starting and watching The Bad Batch after Rebels, and I just like I binge watched the entire thing, and I got it done like in season 1 and 2 in like 2 days.
Yeah.
So yes, I was like hyped
Oh,
for
yeah.
season 3. I was like the night before, like I got butterflies, and I'm like so excited.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we were all at that point once where we were like, oh, yeah, the animated shows, those probably suck. And then we watched them and we were like, oh, what have we been missing this whole time? Like, that's kind of how we all kind of were. We either grew up on it and watched it immediately, or we were just neglecting it for so long until we realized how good it was. All right, let's talk about, first of all, are you still drawing? Are you still drawing those awesome, cool Star Wars stuff?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Well,
I
you
kind of
had a request in the chat for if you could get a Zillow Beast to eat Dr. Hemlock. That might make somebody's day, you know?
I don't know, maybe.
That would be a
That'd
tough
be
draw.
kind of funny.
Yeah, it would be a
It
tough one
would be a tough draw.
for sure.
Yeah, I guess I could post a picture later, but I'm working on Bo-Katan. I don't know if you saw that last one, but
Yeah, yeah.
I screwed it up at first, and then Maggie was cheering me on to go finish it, so I
Nice.
restarted it, and it's looking pretty good.
That's awesome. All right, let's dive into a little bit before I get you on out of here and get Tiffany in for the last one.
Yeah.
The sequel trilogy. First of all, it's extremely divisive. It's kind of crazy when you have to literally talk about something and you have to start by saying it's extremely divisive. No, but do you think it's possible that The Bad Batch is just the first stepping stone, sort of, to fixing, in quotations, the sequel trilogy?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure. Because like what the Clone Wars did is the prequels were kind of hated at first, and the Clone Wars had it, and they had the Clone Wars, and it like built off it and made it better. Which I'm hoping they could do that with the sequels. I mean, me when I first saw the sequels, I actually enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But they were pretty good. I mean, I kind of like uh I kind of like The
Force
Last
Awakens.
Jedi.
Oh,
I
Last
know
Jedi.
everyone hates it, but it's pretty good, except for what they did with Luke. But I'm sure they're probably, because once they did the prequels, they're like, oh crap, we messed up here, so we need to make it better.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's what they're trying to do.
I hope so.
But yeah, I enjoyed it at first.
I actually am on the
but
same. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I'm actually on the same boat as you because I actually enjoyed them a whole lot when they first came out. Each individual one I actually went to see it multiple times in the theaters. And just like those second two, every time I watched them, I was like, there's something missing here. There's something weird going on here. But going back to your other point, how the Clone Wars really, really helped the prequels, it's very interesting because the Clone Wars obviously takes place in between the prequel movies, and it's 7 seasons of a show. The Bad Batch is like 40 years before the sequel trilogy. So the fact that it's helping out all the way over here, and the sequels are all the way over there, it's very, very telling that if we get like a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, or even if the Rey movie's really, really good, we could really help that sequel trilogy out a whole lot.
Yeah, that would most definitely be good. Yeah, I really enjoyed The Force Awakens. I
Oh, yeah.
thought that was pretty good.
I think The Force Awakens still holds up as a really good movie. It's just what happens after that, that needs to be sort of
kind of
dealt with.
went downhill.
Yeah. All right. Before I get you on out of here, let's hear it. On a scale of 1 to 10, what did you think of those first 3 episodes of The Bad Batch so far?
I was really, really, really hyped for it, and I was like losing it after all the little like references to tech, and I was just like, no, stop this. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and yeah, I watched it like twice through, and then I usually am like notice small details, and the second time through, I remember I was looking around the ship to see if he still had Tech's glasses,
Yeah.
and I didn't see it, but then I like watched it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's right there in the frame. How did I miss it? And I lost it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
you'd say that was awesome. I really liked it, but the blah, 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 blah. I didn't hear a scale of 1 to 10.
Probably 9 out of 10.
All right, 9 out of 10. We get it. You didn't like it enough. We get it. Okay, bye, Star Wars for Life. We appreciate you here on the channel. Tiffany, we're going to get you in here, Tiffany. Tiffany, you will be the last one for today. Andrew, what's up? Andrew's in the chat. Tiffany, you are on. What's up?
Hello there. Can you
Hello
hear
there.
me okay?
I hear you just fine.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for taking me last. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
You saved the best for last, Just kidding. To everybody else who called in, I'm just kidding. All right, let's start it off with this here. We'll start you off with the last question I asked Star Wars for Life. Out of 10, what do you rank the first 3 episodes of The Bad Batch so far?
So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 just because like you mentioned before, we have to like leave room, for a higher ranking. And I know as the whole series comes to a close, there's definitely going to be episodes that are going to get that high score, but getting like the first 3 episodes, getting those back to back was awesome. And
Yeah.
the 3rd episode was for me 10 out of 10. So
Yeah. I completely agree. I think obviously, like you said, getting those first 3 episodes, like if we got just 1, it would have been like, what the hell? If we got just 2, it would have been confusing. But getting all 3 was really good. Do you have someone behind you? Does somebody want to chime into the conversation?
So fun fact, I am a mom, so that is my son.
What does he have to say?
speaking in the
Is he watching the Bad
background.
Batch?
Okay, so I have a son and a daughter. They're not twins, but they're a year and a half apart. But
Are they named Luke and Leia?
that's why I said they're not twins. That would have been cool, but they do have unique names. But they're starting to get into Star Wars, thanks to Mama, of
Nice.
course. And we have been to Galaxy's Edge in Disney World, and so they
Nice.
love it. Rise of Resistance is their favorite.
That's
But
awesome.
my son is a Stormtrooper fan, so
That's awesome.
I'm the Dazzle Light.
There you go. All right.
My favorite light
That's hilarious.
sorry.
No, that's fine. It's funny. It makes for a nice distraction for me. So with the sequel trilogy, let me ask you first, what do you think of the sequel trilogy? Just like from a fan perspective, how do you view the sequels? Do you like
So
them? Do you dislike them?
The Force Awakens for
Yeah.
me, I did see all of them in the movie theater because I'm definitely one that I give, everything a chance, and I'm excited, for anything new. I thought The Force Awakens was good. And then, from there it started to like slowly decline. I did still see even The Rise of Skywalker in the theaters as
Yeah.
well. I actually watched it in 4DX. So that,
Yeah.
that made it a little better because the,
Yeah, it
the
must have been
element
pretty
and
cool.
everything. Yeah, it was cool.
Well, a lot of people, you just said you even watched all the way to The Rise of Skywalker. Some people just gave up and didn't even watch The Rise of Skywalker, which is pretty cool. But do you think that it's possible that what's going on with the Bad Batch right now, like we've talked about for the last 2 hours and 50 minutes, do you think that it's possible that that could all be connecting and all be fixing, so to speak, what's going on with the return of Palpatine?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're starting to slowly see it. And I feel like as the series comes to a close, they're gonna, kind of explain that even more. Me personally, I love that they're doing that. And I think it is like patching up some of the holes and issues there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's doing it from such a far distance, 40 years out, that no one's even going to complain about it, and nobody is complaining about it. Yeah. All right, I appreciate you, Tiffany. I really do. I'm gonna get you on out of here. We're gonna end this calls thing. I appreciate you, and tell Luke and Leia I say hi.
I will. Thank you
Okay.
so much for taking me, and may the
Of
force
course.
be with you all.
May the force be with you. All right. See you, Tiffany. All right. I appreciate all you guys. I'm going to end that call-ins portion of the Discord there. Of course, join the Discord if you want to do call-ins, if you want to do all that other stuff. It's a lot of fun in there. We talk Star Wars all the time. I appreciate all you guys for calling in. That was a lot of fun. This is Star Wars for Life. I appreciate you for being such a good sport. I just found it really funny to just kick you out of there. It was really funny. Huge shout out to Tiffany. Thank you for that. That's called parenting done right, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it's done. You get your kids into Star Wars young. I don't have kids, but when I do, they'll be holding a lightsaber from straight out the womb. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But they won't be watching Revenge of the Sith anytime soon, which is sad because it's the best Star Wars, and Anakin burns alive. So it's, they'll have to make like a PG version of that movie or something, but that's parenting done right. I appreciate you, Tiffany. I appreciate you, Star Wars for Life. I appreciate you, Jay, and I appreciate you, Maggie. We only did 4 call-ins, right? I think so. I appreciate all the call-ins. If I missed you, I really do apologize, but I think I did all of them. I appreciate, Cat's Paw, of course. Damn it, did I not mention you? I apologize. But yes, I appreciate all you guys for the call-ins, and I appreciate all you guys more than you will ever know. I'm going to end this poll that's in the chat right now. See what you guys think. Has the Bad Batch Season 3 already, after only the first 3 episodes, made The Rise of Skywalker better? The math is not mathing, obviously, but 81% of you do say yes. 81% of almost 40 votes. 81% of you guys say yes, which is something crazy. I might have to pull that up on the community tab because that might be something that I really want to see if you guys actually do that. So if you do think that. So that's going to be quite cool. I appreciate you, Maggie. Don't worry about it. Odd says, yeah, for sure. Show it to them early. Show it to your kids early, and then they will get, then you will end up have them start them watching. Yes, whatever. I don't know what you just said. This is the longest stream we've had probably ever, other than the video gaming streams that we did for the playthrough of Jedi Survivor, which those went like 5 hours. But this is the longest stream ever. And this is probably my favorite stream ever. This might be my favorite stream of all time. You guys might have just witnessed greatness right here, as this was probably my favorite stream ever. We had so many people in. We got up to 33 people at one point. That's insane. That's the most since Ahsoka. That means the hype is real for the Bad Batch. That's very good to see. And it was a fun-ass stream. We talked about how everything is being connected with this small-ass show called The Bad Batch, and it's all connected from The Mandalorian to the sequel trilogy to all that stuff. And we literally just talked and talked to each other forever. It's definitely the most we've had chats in the chat. It's definitely the most people we've had in a long, long time. And I appreciate all you. We've gone for almost 3 hours. 3 hours. Guess what? You know what that means? You know what a 3-hour stream means? It means I really have to take a pee, okay? So I do have to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate all of you guys so much. Odd says, don't shut it down until 7 so we can make it 3 hours. Should I go an extra 7? I can't. I really have to pee. In Dave we trust. In Dave we really do trust. Tiffany says, thanks again for the patience and understanding. My son was so excited so excited you said hi to him. Oh, I appreciate that. I'll tell him I say hi again. He was very funny. I liked hearing him in the background. It was fun. Do it, JK. We understand. Go and come back. We can wait. No, it's fine. We don't have to hit the 3-hour mark. It's just we'll hit it another time when I don't have to pee as bad. See, here's the problem. I start with this cup, right? It's full to the brim, and I drink all of it. Then I go to this big-ass cup that's the size of my head, and I drink almost all of it. And then I have to pee. But it's a kind of a never-ending battle because I'm going to lose my voice if I don't drink water. And then I'm going to have to pee if I drink so much water. But usually the streams don't go for 3 hours. So, yeah. It's really been a long stream, and it's been one of my favorite streams of all time, at least. So, I appreciate all of you. Smash a freaking like on this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I post a video. Guess what? We are only about 60 some odd subscribers away from 9,000. 9,000! That's insane! That's absolutely insane, and I can't wait. I appreciate all of you more than you will ever know. Way more than you will ever know. Huge shout out to Fearless for that very generous super chat very early on in this stream. It felt like days ago that you sent that in, but I appreciate it so much. Huge shout out to all the call-ins. Huge shout out to all the members. You guys are the best. I appreciate all of you so much, and may the force be with you. Always. Oh yeah, what a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. This was quite a great stream. I'll remember this one for a long, long time. I hope the rest of the streams for the rest of time are just like this. You guys will all just have to come back, you know? You all just have to come back for the next one. It's wild. This was a great stream. I appreciate all of you more than you'll ever know. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. A great rest of your lives. Watch out for a video tomorrow about Project Necromancer. If not tomorrow, then Monday, but most likely tomorrow. Stream on Tuesday, of course, and watch party again on Wednesday. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.